I wish you could see me dancing to that song.
Me too. But unfortunately, you're just in the dark, so of course I can't see you.
I don't actually have a physical form. I am merely a disembodied voice.
My ancestors were ghosts. I am the specters and demons, the likes of which your mortal mind cannot comprehend.
I am an ancient beyond your comprehension.
An eldritch abomination. Now that we're done being fucking total mungs, as Mason would say. Greetings, everyone. This is Adventurous After Dark. My name is Zach Pieper. I am your primary host and lead adventurer. This is my esteemed friend and colleague and just the most greatest girl in the whole wide world, Caitlin.
Oh.
Over here on the far side of the screen for me, the one, the only, the voice of the darkness, the unseen, all-seeing eye, Mason in the Dark.
Thanks.
What's up, folks?
So, you can find
this
all
week.
Of our, I think I put it in the description. I think I got it in there this time. Sorry, Mason. I didn't know.
Awesome.
Right as I started rattling my trash hole again. What was that, Mason?
It doesn't matter. I'll go back to it in a second. Okay. I forgot about the plugs because I'm a professional.
So, if you want to find either of their channels, you can, of course, go check out the description. Please consider giving them your support. And, of course, please hit that sub button. Because over on this channel, we do the weekly show. We do the segments, which are kind of busy right now, so they're not getting cut out. Just chill. And I hope you guys enjoy the show because we are going to be digging into Stephenie Meyer's work again. And I'm a little bit up and a little bit awake. So it's going to be a good time. Kaylin, before I hit him with the stinger, what was it you were going to say, bud?
What?
I was just going to say that this week it is a total eclipse of the heart.
Yeah, or as I put in the thumbnail, eclipse of the
I was
shirt.
in my head for a line to do my opening little bit of singing that I usually do. And I was sitting there and I was like, what's that line from Love Potion number 9 about the cop? And I was trying to dig for exactly how that line goes, and I couldn't get it. But when
I got you covered.
On 34th and Pine, she broke my little bottle of Love Potion number 9. That's what it was. And the one by the Monkeys was the best version. Fight me. Wait, hang on.
No one wants to fight you, Zach. Chill your predatory instincts out.
They're actually barely under control all the time.
Context not available.
That's right.
Because it's for pussy.
That's right.
Pussy.
So we're gonna dig into this crime scene that unfortunately is just in the public eye on the internet all the time. It's just a fucking massacre of literature, and frankly, someone should clean it up. But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. I'm Detective Zach. This is Archive Caitlin, and the man in the chair in the dark. And we are the
Bad Prose, what you gonna do when the Prose police are coming for you? Bad Prose.
All units respond. We've got a 10-5.
I love you, Mason.
Urgent assistance required.
Oh, I fucking love this guy. Alrighty.
Mm-mm.
So let's. No, wrong thing, Zach. Oh God, I'm so sorry. No, I'm so there we go. That's what I was looking for. That's the one. Okay.
There it is.
So,
Yay.
oh my God, once again, Stephenie Meyer has started her book with a preface.
Preface.
How
It's
much
like-
that it's a goddamn prologue or prelude.
Prelude.
Steph. You just don't learn, do you? How many
If it
times?
starts with a dream sequence, I'm going to smash my own skull off the wall.
Sorry, what?
I said if it starts with a dream sequence again, I'm going to smash my own skull off the wall.
Oh, man.
Oh, you mean like a dream sequence that was actually a terrifying nightmare as opposed to, nightmares that are not terrifying?
Oh man, oh geez, you guys. So
1 week I'm gonna bring alcohol to this, and I'm gonna take a drink every time something
Yes.
is bad.
Yes.
Mason, I will pay you to do that. I'll buy the bottle for you. All right. So here we go. Preface or
Yes.
preface for the uncivilized. All our attempts at subterfuge had been in vain. With ice in my heart, I watched him prepare to defend me. Okay, so all our attempts at subterfuge, that is a tricky word, had been in vain. That's our first sentence, and that's actually, I think that's a decent hook.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what Jada Pinkett Smith's doing in Twilight.
Yeah.
That joke was topical and relevant. And what's amazing about the timing on that one is you only have like another week or so before the internet basically forgets about that. So you got that joke in just in time, buddy. Oh, man.
Oh,
And then this
boy.
next line, this next sentence, with ice in my heart, comma, I watched him prepare to defend me. And I just got to say, congratulations to Stephenie Meyer. We're 3 books in, but she finally fucking learned how to use a comma properly.
Oh,
She finally stopped using the M dashes, and the world breathed a sigh of relief.
Okay, Mason, calm down with that optimism. This is only the preface.
right. And oh man, I just scanned down the page. And there is one.
Oh my God, you're right. She couldn't even make it one paragraph without
She couldn't make one paragraph without Mason. We've spoken too soon.
That is a decent hook, though. I will give it that. If I pick this up, I would read that line and think, "Defend her from what? Why she got ice in her veins? What's so terrifying?" And I'd want to carry on reading.
Right. So okay, first 2 lines, pristine. Let's keep trucking here.
Yep.
His intense concentration betrayed no hint of doubt, comma. Though he was outnumbered, period. I knew that we could expect no help. Okay, so here's the first major fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I knew his intense concentration betrayed no hint of doubt, comma, good. Though he was outnumbered, period. Remove that period.
Bad.
Yep, remove that period. Make it a comma. I knew that we could expect no help, period.
Yep.
And that would have been a very well-crafted long, drawn-out sentence,
Yeah.
but it's improperly broken up, and the ideas are fragmented. And there was she missed a golden opportunity there to make herself look intelligent. I'll say that. I'll say it that way.
Well, I mean,
I'll take that as a compliment because I would have put a comma there. There are so many of those sort of sentences in my writing, like the statement, comma, statement, period.
Well, see, and I used to do the exact same thing, and me and my editor had so many go-arounds about this. God, she would probably tell you how many like, I should have paid her for a college level grammar course with how many times she lectured me about the proper use of a goddamn piece of punctuation. Namely, commas, semicolons, and colons.
I won't lie. I still haven't really got my head around how to use semicolons and colons. I mean, I think I know how to use a colon. A semicolon,
So what helps me is a semicolon. I think of a semicolon as super comma. I think that's the fastest, easiest way to say it. It's not a perfect analog, but it's pretty close.
well, because
Yes, Kate?
usually to use a semicolon, though, it's if you're trying to join two independent clauses.
Yes.
In place of using a comma, but usually for the purpose of denoting, okay, this thing that comes after the semicolon is because of whatever was created by said thing in the independent clause previous to the use of the semicolon.
Right. And what's hard for me to wrap my head around with semicolons, at least it was when I first started using them, was it's not a semicolon doesn't end a sentence.
Right. Yeah.
Like when I look at that piece of punctuation and especially a colon, I think, okay, the sentence is ended there. That's my instinctual reaction based on my intrinsic understanding of language. So I had to unlearn that instinctual understanding of punctuation there.
Well, a good thing to remember for people who, just want to stick this in their toolbox, at times, if you're asking yourself, okay, do I use a semicolon here? Do I use a comma? Would it make sense for you to use, instead of using a comma, a coordinating conjunction like and, but, or, nor, for, so, yet, and so on? Any of those things. If the answer in your mind is yes, then use a semicolon. If the answer is no, and it wouldn't make sense for you to use any of those things, then you don't need a colon.
See, here's me giving the oversimplified child, fucking kindergarten explanation, and then Kate just comes in right after me, gives you the college level grammar course explanation.
What do you expect? She's the archive. She knows all, and we bow at her feet.
Accurate. Look, I'm the gumshoe, okay? I'm the boots on the ground. When I have any sort of issue, Caitlin's the first one I call. Alrighty. Okay, so to start this over now, we're going to start with this new sentence that's actually a sentence fragment. I knew that we could expect no help, M dash, at this moment, period, comma. His family was fighting for their lives just as surely as he was for ours, period. Oh, God, Steph, your sentences read like garbage to anyone who knows what they're looking at. Okay, I mean,
Unnecessary M dash detected.
all the time. All
Uses
the
of
time. Yeah, we're going to have to arrest her for that again, amongst
this-
10 or 15 other charges.
cruel and unusual punishment of M dashes.
Well, it's like Stephenie. I don't know what you think an M dash is, but here's what an M dash is.
Yeah.
An M dash separates a statement from the idea in a POV sort of way. So the idea is first person. The thing inside the M dashes is third person. Okay, Steph? That's how that's supposed to be used. So you're like getting the narrator thoughts on something, but not necessarily. It's just what the narrator thought about it, basically. So it can be like as abstract or removed as you want.
Yeah. And
That's what
also,
M dashes are for. All the things Steph puts inside M dash. Hang on, Caitlin. I want to finish this point. All the things Steph puts inside M dashes are directly they're not even relevant. They're part of the fucking narrative. That's
Exactly. I don't understand why she felt the need to separate that sentence.
right. And
I knew that there was no help at this moment. Like, that doesn't even need any punctuation.
Exactly.
Plus, okay, if you're going to separate it out, doing that, unless that at this moment was at the end, there was no need for that M dash being by itself. They're supposed to be used in pairs for the purpose of marking off additional information that is not essential to the entire thing.
You know what,
Stop
Caitlin?
putting stuff inside M dashes, Steph.
I just figured out, Caitlin, the problem. Stephenie Myers thinks that M dashes are ellipses.
Oh, shit.
Think about it.
Oh, no.
She's confused. She thinks M dashes are ellipses. Everywhere you see her put ellipses, or excuse me, an M dash, ellipses would make sense.
Right.
Everywhere.
Because
ellipses is the Swiss Army knife of punctuation.
Exactly. But that
Even there, though, she'd have put. Go ahead, Kate.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, even in that sentence, though, if you put the ellipsis there, I mean, I knew that there was no chance of help at this moment. Like,
right,
it just wouldn't make sense.
Right, it wouldn't. Plus, putting a comma after at this moment, it would have made
Mason. I would actually
just sandwich comma situation as opposed to.
Caitlin, let me dig into what Mason just said.
Okay.
Mason, okay, follow me on this one, bud. I knew we could expect no help. M dash doesn't fucking make sense. It just breaks up the flow of what's being said. Now let's take that M dash and turn it into ellipses. I knew that we could expect no help. At this moment, his family was fighting for their lives just as surely as he was for ours. That's how you would narrate that if there was an ellipses after no help. So it actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I agree. I concede that point, officer.
Hey, that's all right, buddy. You're new to this detective game. We'll get you sorted out. I mean, you're just a disembodied voice floating in the darkness. Give yourself a break, kid.
No, but from an editorial perspective, though, to look at this, it would have made more sense, and because this just really shows how much she really doesn't know what she's doing. It would have made more sense to put the at this moment in a sandwich comma situation.
Yeah.
As opposed to putting an M dash and then a comma after at this moment. It's like, do you even know how to use these things?
No, she doesn't. I mean, we've already established that, Kaylin.
Yeah, I mean, that was more of a rhetorical. Do you even know how to do this?
And what disgusts me about it, Caitlin, is that these it's not just Stephenie Meyer who has no idea how to use punctuation.
Yeah.
It's that her publishers refuse to put their foot down and correct it.
It's like, did this make it through an editor?
I swear to you.
Answer is no.
Either that editor was the most soft-bellied, spineless coward person, or Stephenie Meyer. Every time the editor said, "Well, we need to change this," and she was just like, "No, I'm a genius. I know what I'm doing." Or a hilarious combination thereof. Because, oh my God, this just how could, if I was an editor and this was credited to me, I would tell my employer, "You take my fucking edit credit off that book."
Well, I mean, because
shat upon by her insanity.
Man, no, because had this come across my desk being an editor, no. This would have been covered in red ink. Well, not just red ink, but red and blue ink, because there's just so many problems.
So many things.
Hey, Kate, did you get my manuscript? No, I haven't seen that. Really? Because it was right there in your inbox. No, I never saw it.
Hey, guys, does anyone smell that fire in the break room?
What's that? What's that red?
Dead ass threw a manuscript in the trash can and set it on fire.
Yep, you'd be like, Kate, why are you burning your laptop in the parking lot? I needed to cleanse the evil from my.
I visited some inappropriate sites. Don't worry.
Oh man, oh boy, oh golly, oh geez.
Yeah.
We're still on the preface, guys.
Yes.
We've got plenty of time, but keep going.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Would I ever learn the outcome of that other fight? That's, correct me if I'm wrong, Caitlin, but that is what is that? What's the proper name for that? A hanging conjunction?
Yes.
Yes. Because we have no idea. She's alluding to another fight that may have taken place.
Yeah, but it's not mentioned here at all.
Right. Unless it, oh God, and this would be super bad.
Yeah.
Hang on. I knew that he would expect no help. At this moment, his family was fighting for their lives just as surely as he was for ours. And then she says, would I ever learn the outcome of that other fight?
We're like, okay, what other fight?
Well, but see, here's what I think the issue might be.
It's like, but
is
if you're
that she's saying that the top thing is supposed to be two different fights.
Or, yeah, possibly.
I think it's just attempting to build tension.
Yeah, I mean, because she's either alluding to the family having a fight with whoever who we don't know because they haven't been established, and but the other possibility is her alluding to something that occurred in the previous book, which would also be a bad idea because sometimes people pick up installments without having read previous things. So either way, it's a bad move.
Yes. Hey, Kate, by the way,
Yes.
You're using your shiny mic, right?
I'm using my shiny mic.
Are you using your shiny mic or your headphone mic?
I'm using my shiny mic.
Okay, turn the gain up because I got a note from Mission Control that your audio is coming in soft. So just turn on your mic a bit.
Okay.
So, next.
Alrighty. Would I long live? Would I live long enough? Would I long live? Jesus Christ. I swear I'm not retarded. I swear, guys. The odds of that didn't look so great. Okay, and now here, and once again, we run into conflicting narrator voice. We get everything prior to that was in this serious, somber, dare I say,
Is that better?
Too high pitch and high volume.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, much.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's this elevated sense of tension in the language, and then we get this bit of the odds of that didn't look so great. That bit of like lighthearted sarcasm, and this is supposed to be this section right here. The entire preface is maybe a half a page.
Yeah.
And we get that self-sabotage of tension when the narrator voice has just been serious up until now. And while it's true that that sort of thing is somewhat consistent with the narrator voice we've gotten in other books, it's just that this was not the moment for that. You know what I mean, guys? It's like...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, why do you... At every turn, Stephenie, you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Like,
it's...
Go ahead.
You know what the biggest shame is about it? Is that I think at the heart of it, she knows what she wants to do, and she just doesn't execute it well.
Right.
Like, if you take the essence of this preface, right? It's this. The person I love is trying to protect me. I've got ice in my heart. I'm dreading it. I'm scared of what's happening. No help is coming. I'm worried about what else is happening.
Yeah.
There's another fight happening, and I don't know what's going on there. You know, so she's dropping you into this situation that could be intense.
Yeah.
That could have emotional stakes, and also could have dramatic tension.
Yeah.
But the execution just makes that fall flat. And I just think that's the biggest shame about it, is that the potential is there.
Yeah. You know, Mason, I would agree with you 100%, and that might surprise some people. And here's what might surprise some people even more. I would actually take it a step further and say that is an overarching problem with all of her books in this series. Mm-hmm. Because, look, at the risk of sounding a little gay, the premise of Twilight had potential, okay? Yeah. The entire idea of the story and the things that happen and the world building, all of it had a decent amount of originality and intrigue to it. And if it was well executed, it could have been really good, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It really could have been good. But Steph, she had this, it was like she had this fucking $1 billion idea and then only had $5 for the execution.
Right. Plus, I feel like she was really done dirty by her, her publishers, who just saw dollar signs, and instead of, going that extra mile and not having the mentality of, oh, well, we can just capitalize on this as much as possible with doing the, minimal amount of effort.
Well, see, and if it is on the publisher, that makes it even worse after the first book, because there was so much blowback on the first book for how poorly written her prose are.
Yeah.
Like, that was the #1 criticism. Even inside the Twihard community, there was a certain level of agreement. No, she can't fucking write. We just love the story. There was an entire that camp existed inside the even most hardcore aspects of the fandom. So you know her writing is garbage, and the publisher knew that and still didn't bother to put the next ones through a proper fucking edit. They did her dirty, and they're lazy bastards.
Yeah. I mean, because this...
So what we're saying here is...
Yeah.
You go.
What we're saying here is fuck Trad Pub.
Right. And the fact that this was not touched by an editor. I mean, you can just look at it.
As someone who has a sordid history with editors, I will actually say it may have been touched by an editor. Just a really bad one.
Well, I'm saying as far as from my experience, and I know that it's gone downhill in years, but from my experience of having worked with TradPub editors, this was not touched by somebody in the biz.
Yeah, I don't know what the standard is over at, but then again, to be fair, Caitlin, do you know any of the editors from her publisher around the time? Like, I know you knew a few people, but did you know any of them?
I mean, not directly, but
exactly. So you can only conject, is my point.
Yeah.
So what we're saying here is, I'm about to say this as a novice writer. What we're saying is, Stephenie Meyer should have gotten a ghostwriter.
Yes. Yeah, which I mean, she did for the 4th one.
Oh my God.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Okay. Black eyes, wild with their fierce craving for my death, watched for the moment when my protector's attention would be diverted. The moment when I would surely die. Somewhere far, far away in the cold forest, a wolf howled. Okay, so all of that is tolerable. I don't like the use of the word diverted because it fucks up the flow, and the punctuation's bad, but what's being said is decent. The language is decent, except for the word diverted, which again,
it's like
that word, and it's like
it's really awkward.
It's like I'm running through the forest, and everything's going, and I'm dodging some branches, and there's some potholes in the ground, but I'm moving. We're going, and then I just hear something over my shoulder, and I glance over, and when I look back, I slam into a tree, like not face first. It's
with
like
your dick out.
And it feels so nice. When I whip out my dice. And also I whip
flip on some ice.
Oh my God.
The cold forest, though. I would say that is inconsistent narrator voice too.
Yes.
Agreed. You're right. Thank you for the catch. Yep. I missed that one.
It's like, why?
Okay.
Plus the formatting on this is
what? Yeah.
It's garbage. It's like
yeah.
Why?
Okay. Chapter 1, Ultimatum. And we're getting this this almost looks like it's not quite Comic Sans, but there's just this ridiculous font.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay, so anyways.
I'm having PTSD from Alphystia the Sorceress.
Oh God. and all the lines are struck through until the very last two of this what is clearly meant to be interpreted as a handwritten letter. So anyway, okay. Bella, I don't know why you're making Charlie carry notes to Billy like we're in second grade. If I wanted to talk to you, I would answer the it doesn't. You made the choice here, okay? You can't have it both ways. What part of mortal enemies is too complicated for you to look? I know I'm being a jerk, but there's just no way around. We can't be friends when you're spending all your time with a bunch of. It just makes it worse when I think about you too much, so don't write anymore. Yeah, I miss you too a lot. Doesn't change anything. Sorry, Jacob.
Oh my god. What the fuck were you trying to accomplish here, honey?
What's amazing is what this okay. This is just proof that Steph does not understand men at all. Because he wouldn't have passed this letter to her
Right.
like this. He would have torn that part off and just passed her a note with just the little part he ended up settling on.
Right.
And it's hilarious. And another thing too, even Jacob did not fully escape the wrath of the M dash. You see?
It's what the irony is that note is the most consistently teenage narrator voice that she's ever penned in this series from what we've seen.
Mason, you're tragically correct.
She's like, hey, I get to speak as I actually speak.
How much would you love to be the teacher that found that note as they were passing it round in class?
Oh my god, dude. If that would be, that's like one of those things that when you get that, you just you look at it, you're just like, oh, okay, I don't want any part of this high school teenage drama bullshit. You just hand it back to the student, pretend you never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something you'd like to share with the rest of the class, Miss Swan?
Oh my god. I ran my...
Okay. Doesn't matter. We need to move on.
Jason, finish.
I just kind of want Kate to read that note as Smeagol.
Oh my god.
Hey, Lynn, can you see it on my screen?
Kinda.
I can't really do. Hang on. I can.
Hold on. Okay. Well, it's on Amazon, so I can look it up.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why you just suggest that.
It's okay. I do it. All right. Here we go.
And you should all the words that you can't make out, you should just replace with precious.
Oh, all right. Ladies and gentlemen.
This isn't for the audience at all. This is just for me.
This is just for Nelson. This is how we do things around here. That's right. Process. Okay. I want the sample. Is what I want. When you look at it, open. Come on, you can do it. Okay, I believe in you. All right, here we go. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. Yeah. Had to make sure I was properly hydrated. Okay. Yeah, I told you I had hundreds of them. Okay. Okay, here we go. Bella, I don't know why you're making Charlie carry notes to Billy like we're in second grade. Dash. Because, people write like that. If I wanted to talk to you, I would answer there, Precious. You made the choice here, okay? You can't have it both ways, when Precious. What part of murder enemies is too complicated for you to Precious? Look, I know I'm being a jerk, but there's just no way around Precious. You can't be friends when you're spending all your time with a bunch of Precious. It just makes it worse. When I think about you too much, so don't write it anymore, Precious.
My cheeks hurt. I'm so glad I asked you to do that.
Yeah, I miss you too. A lot. Doesn't change anything. Sorry, Jacob.
What we have done here, folks,
Yep.
is successfully inserted Smeagol into the Stephenie Meyer's verse.
I think it's an improvement.
I just picture him just sitting and reading it underneath it, like in his little dark pit in the mountain. Like, oh, what's this?
Oh, you know what? I should do readings of different books by Smeagol.
Caitlin, 100% you need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's next?
I ran my fingers across the page, feeling the dents where he had pressed the pen to the paper so hard that it had nearly broken through.
Melodrama.
Yes.
Because people write that hard.
Because, well, I actually, Caitlin, I do, because I'm a very heavy-handed pen.
Because you're full of predatory instincts.
Yep. Actually, it's more because I'm full of anger, but they're very closely related. I could picture him writing this M dash, scrawling the angry letters in his rough handwriting, slashing through line after line when the words came out wrong, maybe even snapping the pen in his too big hand. Oh god! Oh my god! This
Why? No.
okay.
Can you even call this a sentence?
Mary Shelley, folks. I'm going to. Okay. I can picture him writing this M dash, scrawling the angry letters in his rough handwriting, comma, slashing through line after line when the words came out wrong, comma, maybe even snapping the pen in his too big hand, semicolon, playing the ink splatters, period, finally. Okay, Stephenie.
No. Do we get to impose capital punishment?
No, Caitlin, let me get my point out here. Okay. If you remove the M dash, which is just completely unnecessary.
Yes.
100%. I can't. Don't change it. Don't replace it with a word. Nothing. Just take it out, you dumbass.
Right.
Then
it's not an ellipsis.
Right.
Not even an ellipsis there.
No.
Although it would work if you wanted to put it there, because it's the Swiss Army knife of motherfucking punctuation. Okay.
Your point. Continue.
Yes. I'm sorry, my brain. I got off the rails there a little bit. Maybe even snapping. Okay. This sentence, you remove the M dash, and the sentence is actually good. The problem is, it's too good. It's 100% inconsistent with the established narrator voice. It's like, Stephenie, if you're going to make your narrator incompetent at written communication, make them consistently incompetent at written communication. So at least we can assume that is the narrator's voice. But what you've just done here is given me a long, complex, beautifully flowing sentence, and now you're looking dangerously close to being someone who's competent. The narrator voice is conflicting, and I don't know what to do, Stephenie.
But at the same time, yeah, fine. It's beautifully crafted and flowing. But the thing is, Bella gives the same gravity to Jacob writing an angry letter as she does to running across a square to try and save Edward's life.
Yes. Okay.
It's really annoying.
She's just like one of those people that's just constantly just on about being over dramatic about everything.
Yep.
Slashing through each line. I'm like, chill out, girl.
Right, exactly. It's like...
And if you actually picture him writing the letter the way she's describing, it's the most hilarious thing. It's just Jacob like hunched over, writing with like gripping the pen in his hand, like not with like, you know, the finesse grip, just like the full chunky like toddler grip of like it's in the middle of his hand and he's just.
It's got it just like this. Like, just like. Oh my gosh, I wish you could see what Zach is doing right now.
I can imagine I was doing it in the air, Joe. I miss you too. A lot. It just hurts when I think about you.
I miss you too, but it doesn't change anything. Sorry.
And then
His dad can read his letter because it's basically carved into the desk.
Right.
Why is a werewolf like a writing desk? Because he pours his soul into it.
Fuck, that's good.
Man.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Yeah. It was funny because with how intensely we were having him write the letter, be like, and all of a sudden I was just thinking he was gonna be like, oops, I pooped.
I pooped. I'm sorry. I got so mad that I pooped my pants.
What the fuck? That was just out of left field, folks.
Now Zach's falling prey to the context. It's for pussies.
I guess so. I guess I am, folks.
And on that, let's move on.
I was just about to, sir. I can imagine the frustration pulling his black eyebrows together and crumbling. If I'd been there, I might have laughed. Don't give yourself a brain hemorrhage, Jacob. I would just spit it out.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Stephenie Meyer. Okay, Steph. You are the queen of cannot spit it out trope, Steph.
Yes.
Bella is the absolute fucking queen of cannot spit it out. And shovel face Jake, not shovel face vampire boy, that motherfucker can't be bothered to articulate his thoughts for the fucking sake of saving someone's life. Are you kidding me, Stephenie? Fuck you with her saying just spit it out. I fucking hate you, Stephenie.
Oh my god. But with as comedically as she set this up, okay, with him scrawling the angry letters, like as intensely as we just demonstrated before this, the whole line of the frustration pulling his eyebrows together.
I know.
Thank you.
It's cartoonish.
Yes.
It's just I have this mental image of two
We had the angry bird eyebrows.
Yeah, two little like mini men, on one standing over here with one standing on the right with a rope attached to the eyebrow of the left, and another man on the opposite with a rope to the opposite, and then just keep holding his eyebrows together like the sailors bringing a boat into dock.
And they're both wearing t-shirts that say frustration.
Yes.
I love you, man. That was the cherry on top of my retarded brainchild.
God, I love Stephenie Meyer so much. She gives us just so much ammo. It's like with most prose releases, we go in with it's like we go in with a revolver. We've got 6 good shots. We need to get ourselves out of there alive. When we go into Stephenie Meyer's works, it's like we're Arnie in Terminator 2 with the fucking minigun and the bandolier, and we're just like,
yes.
You are terminated.
Yes.
What's next?
Wiping my screen off. First of all, I just got a ton of spit all over it.
I'm crying.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, folks. Oh, man. Oh, geez. Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Huh.
Okay. Laughing was the last thing I felt like doing now as I reread the words I'd already memorized. His answer to my pleading note passed from Charlie to Billy to him, just like second grade, as he'd pointed out, was no surprise. I'd known the essence of what it would say before I'd opened it. Then why'd you even fucking write him, you selfish bitch?
Right.
Well, yeah.
Plus, why all these commas in the middle of your M dashes?
Oh my God, yes.
To answer your question, Zach, because Bella is toxic as fuck throughout this series, that's why.
Yes,
Oh my
exactly.
God, she is.
Exactly.
Like, holy shit. And I thought my high school girlfriend was manipulative.
Oh.
That is definitely something that's worth talking about. Is people always talk about how it's like creepy that a 200-year-old dude is dating a teenager. How about it being equally as amazing and fucked up that somehow that teenager is able to dangle the fucking 200-year vampire from strings like a fucking meat puppet?
Exactly.
Well, and if you actually think about how fucked up her actions are, if you take out the fact that Edward's a vampire, right? If he was just teenage boy Edward,
yeah,
then Bella's the villain in this situation.
Yes.
I'm team Edward and Jacob just need to go off together. Fuck this bitch, man. Let's go to Hawaii.
Right, yeah. I was like, y'all just go be best friends and forget about this bitch.
yeah.
Oh,
It's pretty.
I know that it hurts you when I write you notes. I know that you, I know that you really like me / love me. Stephenie would want me to say. I know you love me, but I just need to keep writing you them anyway because, well, fuck you. I care about myself.
Right. Gosh. I mean, but there really do be people like that, though.
Yes, I've dated them.
It's like,
But did they hold their breath while they stared at you?
while they stared at you widely?
Whew, I'm not even going to go into that one. All right. What was surprising was how much each crossed out line wounded me, as if the points of the letters had cut tiny edges. More than that, behind each angry beginning lurked a vast pool of hurt. Jacob's pain cut me deeper than my own. Then why do you keep...
Then stop writing him!
It's like, oh, it's like, hey, look at these, huge wounds that I've given you. Allow me to pour salt in them. And then
right.
It's like,
Jacob, why are you in pain, Jacob? Because you're stabbing me. Jacob, I don't know how to help you. Stop stabbing me.
It hurts me more than it hurts you, Jacob.
It's like, really? I find that hard to believe.
Because you're stabbing me.
Right?
No, trust me, it hurts me to see you in pain.
Not as much as being stabbed hurts, Bella.
Like, stop bleeding all
Jesus,
over.
she's so bad.
Like, why are you so messy?
Oh my!
I thought I wrote an unlikable character in Valdis, but gee.
No.
Valdis. What's amazing, what is truly amazing about Valdis, to just step off topic for just a second, is that somehow you made a murderous, evil psychopath likable. Like, that's a bad guy that you can be like, okay, that dude's fucking awesome. Like, pure evil, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like admiring the eye of the storm. It's like, this thing just destroyed my house, my business, and killed my kid, but somehow I have to give it this. That is a majestic force of nature.
My point is, though, that even he would pick up Twilight and be like, this girl is extremely manipulative.
He would probably be like, I like this girl. I'm going to go toy with her to see who's better manipulated. I might learn a thing or two from her.
And then I can see what her insides look like.
Her sexual overtones.
Right.
Valdis is not a groomer. Get off that wagon.
I will be on that wagon until the day Valdis dies. Okay. More than that, while I was pondering this, I caught the unmistakable scent of a smoking burner, smoking burner rising from the syntax there is.
It's like, no.
That does not. It's proper, but it doesn't. Anyways, I caught the unmistakable scent of a smoking burner rising from the kitchen. I guess the problem. It's like, how would you know it was a burner? Like, how would you immediately?
Because it's unmistakable.
The fact that someone besides myself was cooking might not be a cause for panic.
Man.
Yeah. So if you're not the one cooking, how do you know it's a smoking burner? It could just as easily be something burning in the oven.
I assume that Charlie will have used it on a fairly regular basis, though.
Yeah, that's another one.
It still smelled like the burnt cheese that he cooked last night.
Oh, so Mason. Okay, well, I don't have super blind person smell, so burnt shit smells like burnt shit to me, man.
Man.
It still smelled like Jacob's heart sizzling away on the griddle.
tasty, tasty heart of those I claim to love.
Oh man.
It hurt me to eat his heart, but I did anyway. I'm a masochist.
I think what you mean to say is sadist, my friend.
No, she's putting herself through pain
Yeah.
by putting him in pain. She's a masochist.
Yes.
Well, she
Yeah.
would be a sadomasochist. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The jar of spaghetti sauce Charlie stuck in the microwave was only on its first revolution when I yanked the door open and pulled it out. What did I do wrong? Charlie demanded. You're supposed to take the lid off first, Dad. Metal in the microwave.
Oh my god.
Okay, and see, I here's something I have to point out. Okay, this is a grown man living in the year 2000 something. He's gonna know you don't put metal in microwaves.
Right.
He was living on his own before she got there.
Exactly. It's like so
What did he eat before she got there?
right.
I've been surviving on boogers.
Nothing but fast food takeout, delivery pizza, and beer for the last 10 years since your mother. America. Fuck you. That's the voice she's essentially giving Charlie with this stuff.
Oh my god.
Fuck you, Stephenie. I don't know what your image of men is, but it's not that. Okay? We aren't that. Fuck you.
Oh my god.
I love that level of specificity too. It was on its first rotation. If it's on its first rotation, well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. If it's on its first rotation, Charlie still stood right next to the microwave because he only just turned it on.
Right.
Either that, or it's the slowest fucking rotating microwave ever.
Oh my
I
gosh.
swiftly removed the lid as I spoke, pouring half the sauce into a bowl, and then put the bowl inside the microwave and the jar back in the fridge. I fixed the time and pressed start. Sorry, I just was throwing up in my mouth a little bit there. I had to get it under.
You're only allowed half the jar, Charlie.
Oh my god. Plus, like, okay, she said it smelled like a smoking burner.
Right.
Right.
Which would imply he was doing something on the stove.
Yep.
Or that
Well,
the spaghetti sauce was burning, but it was only on its first rotation.
Yeah.
well, hang on. Let me
superpowered
guys, let's get to the next part here. Charlie watched my adjustments with pursed lips. Did I get the noodles right? I looked in the pan on the stove. That's why I was trying to get to the next part.
Okay.
He's also doing something on the burner. The source of the smell that had alerted me. Stirring helps, I said mildly. I found a spoon and tried to declump the
Oh
mushy
my god.
scalded to the bottom. That's not actually how noodles work if there was water in there, Stephenie.
This man doesn't and couldn't exist, Stephenie.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. My dad was almost this bad, but still not this bad. He knew not, like, for example, my father knew not to put fucking metal in the microwave.
Right.
It's like, there are definitely men who cannot fucking cook to save their lives. For that matter, by the way, there's women who are that way too.
Yes.
You didn't think of that, did you, Stephenie? That's looking an awful lot like internalized misogyny based on cultural tropes.
Maternalized misogyny.
Yeah.
Oh God, my mom got rid of that. I tell you what.
Maternalized misogyny.
I get you, Zach. There are people that are that bad at cooking. I'm not great at cooking, right? I'm sorry, but one of those things on their own would be like this character isn't very good at cooking thing. But metal in the microwave combined with noodles somehow fucking baked onto the bottom of the pan. It just, Steph, it's overkill. Put the hammer down, Steph.
Right. Right. And yeah, exactly.
The goose is cooked, Steph. Take it out of the oven.
The source of the smell, Charlie sighed. So what's all this about? I asked him. He folded his arms across his chest and glared out the back window into the sheeting rain. Don't know what you're talking about, he grumbled.
He
mystified.
what?
Surly cooking? And what was with the surly attitude? Okay, so at least the narrator is pointing out that this is weird. There's a little bit of forgiveness there. Edward wasn't here yet. Usually, my dad reserved this kind of behavior for my boyfriend's benefit, doing his best to illustrate the theme of unwelcome with every word and posture. Charlie's efforts were unnecessary. Edward knew exactly what my dad was thinking without the show.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that, Bella.
Exactly. He doesn't know that yet.
The word boyfriend had me chewing on the inside of my cheek with a familiar tension while I stirred. It wasn't the right word, not at all. I needed something more expressive of eternal commitment. But words like destiny and fate some sounded hokey when you use them in casual conversation. Okay, listen here, you fucking bitch. I am getting so tired of you switching between Mary Shelley wannabe and grumpy, disgruntled, edgy teenage girl. You can't be both. I'm sorry. It's not fucking acceptable. That person, there is on this entire planet. Hang on, Mason. On this entire fucking planet, okay? There's 7 billion people. Roughly 3.5 to 4 billion of that are women. There's maybe a couple hundred teenage girls in existence with this personality, Stephenie. Shut the fuck up.
And that's actually the point that I was about to make. It would actually be quite an interesting read to get a narrator who, say she's a teenage girl, right? She wants to be a writer, and you're getting these I can't remember the words for it. Where it's say it's like diary entries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's writing, and she's trying to have this distinguished voice, but she keeps slipping back into a dramatic teenage girl voice. Right. That would actually be super endearing characterization, but she ain't doing it on purpose.
Right.
I see. Thank you, Mason. Agreed. If it was set up properly and it was established that it was clear and it was made clear that it was deliberate, you're right, Mason. That would be an interesting and endearing narrator, especially if the narrator wasn't also one of the characters who was, a piece of shit.
Right. Exactly.
But unfortunately, both of those things are also the reality.
What's all this about? She asked him. A jar of spaghetti sauce and spaghetti. Fair enough. If she'd have come down, he'd have been like making filet mignon and frog or something. Not microwavable spaghetti sauce.
Right.
Heat up anything in the microwave. I'm not recommending you make your spaghetti in the microwave, but you can do it. But it's just like the whole thing. It's just like, Jesus Christ, the way she views men. She it's clear to me that Stephenie Meyer sees men as a collection of stereotypes.
Yeah.
And I think to her, you could lump every single man alive into a subset of stereotypes. Yeah. And that pisses me off.
And it's like you had a husband because she has children.
Right.
So, like, I mean, Is this just a caricaturization of of your ex? Is that what this is?
Well, when it comes to the Twilight series, from what I can remember, there's no variety to the men. You've got Edward is good, intelligent, caring and thoughtful, and then all the other men are like Charlie.
Right? Yeah.
I think Jacob it has a distinction. You forgot about Jacob is the steamy bad boy who I would totally get with if I wasn't already committed to my one true love.
Yeah. But he gets shit on so much though.
He really does.
Through the whole series. It's like he's the dude that we're just gonna put in the corner and walk over and kick. Because
Right.
And then I'm gonna try to give him a decent ending and absolutely destroy his character.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
It's like my one attempt at presenting a good male character, but I'm actually going to ball it up and then throw it in the trash and then pour kerosene on it and light it on fire.
Well, cackling maniacally, roughly about like this.
It's like, Steph, we know that he's a wolf. That doesn't mean he has to be an actual predator.
Right.
Yeah. And then
Those aren't the predatory instincts that we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's not what we were referring
you're
to.
stuck on that for a while, aren't you, buddy?
Yeah, he said it.
Next.
Charlie's effort to do, but words like destiny and fate sounded hokey. But you wouldn't hesitate to use them a paragraph ago when you were describing your dad's cooking.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also, they wouldn't work as replacements for boyfriend Bella. Hey, this is my destiny, Edward. Hey, this is Edward. He's my fate.
That sounds ominous.
Change the narrator voice. The narrator voice. Hang on. So,
This is Edward. He is my fate. I'm destined to someday become a cold, unfeeling monster. I remember when I found out what he was. I was in the woods. He was running all around me in a blur. And then, with a stupid, almost dumbfounded expression on my face, I said, "You're a vampire?" And I was so fucking cool.
Twilight, read by Stephenie Meyer. This has been an Audible production.
113. Just gonna write that down, clip that out, use that as a promotional clip.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, how are we only 115 in? I love this. I love Players Please extravaganzas.
Yes. Oh my god. And that man, to circle back real quick to the really, really silly thing that you said earlier, maternalized misogyny. Archive says, okay, even though misogyny is not actually a word.
Right. I was going to leave that alone, but thank you for self-correcting.
but okay, it could be a word, because if it were, it would basically those two things together, maternalized misogyny, basically you are making a mother out of your sister-in-law.
I'm not sure I understand, but it's funny.
I'm not sure I understand either, Mason. I think she went over both our heads on that one, buddy.
No, because inso in Latin refers to in-law, and Ginny is female. So, yeah, misogyny. Your sister-in-law. Or the state of being a sister-in-law. So maternalized misogyny would be making a mother out of your sister-in-law.
Sweet home Alabama.
Where
The skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama. Honey, I'm coming home to you. Yes, it's true.
Oh my God. So yeah. Yep. Just felt like, you know,
Oh God.
y'all needed that little tidbit.
We just created our own phrase.
Yep, we just created our own phrase. Maternalized misogyny.
Caleb,
Who,
Nathan, write it down. It's going in our dictionary.
I was going to say, no. Now it's a race to see who loses it in their writing first, because pretty much everything that we talk about ends up in somebody's writing.
Yes, they do.
Oh God.
Oh.
I love you guys.
We have so much fun, don't we?
Okay. All right.
We've still got at least 45 minutes of this.
I wish we could do this all day.
Oh
Me
my
too.
God. Yeah.
Okay. When you use a casual conversation, Edward had another word in mind, but that word was the source of the tension. I felt. I put my teeth on edge just to think it to my. I put my teeth on edge just to think. What?
What? Not that your teeth were put on edge by thinking about it?
Yeah, the question puts your teeth on edge, yeah.
Right, you did it deliberately.
Guys,
You did it deliberately. What are you, a sociopath? Come
Guys,
on.
did I have a stroke?
No, Stephenie did halfway through that sentence.
Yeah. We're like, I think we found the legal limit of how many shots of espresso you're allowed to give someone.
Sweet baby Jesus. Spicy miserable.
Cause of death: 300 shots of espresso. The FDA has placed regulations in place after Stephenie Meyer.
After Stephenie Meyer stroked out.
299 cups of espresso is now the legal limit.
Oh my God.
298 shots of espresso. 298 shots. You take one down, you pass it around. 298 shots of espresso. 299. 299 shots.
No.
She's having a heart attack.
Oh God.
299 shots.
Oh no. No.
And if she has one more, Stephenie Meyer will be lying on the floor.
Well, guys, there's only one solution to this. We have to go with maximum over caffeination. What? We have to double the amount of caffeine in her system so her heart comes full circle.
Give her 299 more.
Oh my God. Oh, or it's like the scene from Pulp Fiction
But it's caffeine instead.
Yes.
Wait, hang on, Caitlin. I missed what you said. What did you say?
I said the scene from Pulp Fiction, where they have to stab what's her face in the chest with the adrenaline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Where were we? We were somewhere.
We were somewhere. You don't
Oh, yes. She
yes.
purposely put her teeth on edge.
Yes, because apparently she is a sociopath. So it's like my emotional reactions are all deliberate.
Set your teeth to on edge.
Right?
The newest album from Rat Guts. Teeth on edge. Rat Guts.
Rat Guts.
They have at least one new album a week.
Yep.
It's amazing the speed at which they put these out. I just want you to know, Mason, I'm using Rat Guts in my fourth book.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm going to make them the most famous band that never wrote a song.
Oh my God, Caitlin, stop. Okay, all right. Beyonce. I shuddered away from the thought, but I thought he was your destiny, Bella.
Yeah.
I thought Edward was your fate. So why are you shuddering at the thought of marrying him? You stupid bitch.
Right. It's like, make up your mind. Oh, wait, you don't have one. God.
Oh, God. Did I miss something? Since when do you make dinner? I asked Charlie. The pasta lump bobbed in the boiling water as I poked it. Or tried to make dinner, I should say.
Oh
Charlie
God.
shrugged. There's no law that says I can't cook in my own house. You would know, I replied, grinning as I eyed the badge pinned to his leather jacket.
Nice.
Like, why didn't he bother to take his jacket off?
Ha, good one. He shrugged out of the jacket as if my glance had reminded him he still had it on, and hung it on the peg reserved for his gear. God. His gun
The
belt. Go ahead.
The passive aggressiveness of him having the leather jacket on for when Edward gets here, so that he's still wearing his cop's badge. Like, I'm a cop, Edward. Remember, I'm a cop. Do you know I'm a police officer?
I replied, grinning as I eyed the badge pinned to his leather jacket. He shrugged out of the jacket as if my glance had reminded him was already okay. His gun belt was already slung in place. He hadn't felt the need to wear that to the station for a few weeks. There had been no more disturbing disappearances to trouble the small town of Forks.
It's like, but
Washington
it's
separated by a comma.
that. But also, it's standard operating procedure for law enforcement who carry guns to wear their guns to work.
Right.
My dad has worked in law enforcement. He never went to work without his gun.
Yeah, you're required to have your weapon on you during your shift. You're required.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of cops walk around for many hours off duty with their service firearm on them. That's just a normal thing they do. So, yeah, very
America. Yeah.
Hey, sorry you don't have as much freedom as us, buddy.
I'm okay without the freedom to have guns, thanks.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you can't use them.
But I wouldn't want to, even if I could see.
We shall have to remedy that.
Okay.
There have been no more disturbing experiences. He's facing to shoot, Caitlin. To trouble the small town of Forks, Washington. No more sightings of the giant, mysterious wolves in the ever-rainy woods.
Oh, we get it. It rains in Forks. Jesus.
Yep. It rains in Forks all the time.
Always raining, 100% of the time.
Yep.
No plants grow there because they never get they never get UV light.
Yep. It's a marsh.
It's a saltwater marsh with lots of craggy rocks and shiny vampires. And this one
somehow it has a forest.
Big.
Somehow. Yeah. It's like...
Well, you gotta remember, a lot of marshes have trees. That's one of the few things that can consistently grow in them.
Well, yeah, I mean mangroves. That's pretty much what they would have. Would be mangrove trees, which would be creepy as fuck. But, yeah.
Hang on, am I thinking of the right tree?
Werewolf in the Mangrove.
Oh.
Coming this summer.
Ooh.
God damn it, Mason, you've given her an idea.
Ooh. It sounds fun.
Hey man, if she goes and writes that, I'm perfectly okay with it. After that chapter I wrote the other day, I'm willing to read anything that Kate writes.
Hey. I do my best.
Oh man, yeah. Trees. Okay, yeah, the swamp tree. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm familiar with these. They grow around here.
Yeah. Yep, they're semi-aquatic.
I have a bad relationship with mangroves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in that first season of Walking Dead, there's the one guy that tells them to stay out of the mangroves because it'll. He's like, stay out of the mangroves. They'll scratch the bottom of the boat. And I waited fucking seasons thinking that was going to pay off somehow. I was like, that line has to pay off. And it never did. And now I hate mangroves.
Oh, I know what you mean. Because I was seriously waiting for it. Oh, man.
What, were you expecting there to be walkers in the water or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought there was going to be some sort of pivotal moment that took place in a mangrove. Because the line, the way it's delivered, it seems like foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It was ominous. And that's, I mean, because they gave it enough of a spotlight for it to be like, hey, this is going to be important later.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Right.
It never pays off. I mean, unless they pay it off in this last season that's just come out that I haven't watched yet. But, oh my god, imagine if they did.
Finally, after all this time, no. I'd be like, fuck you. All of you.
Anyway, back on topic. Let's go.
We got so off topic, I had to start grooming myself.
Now who's the groomer?
I'm grooming myself because I plan on molesting myself and then grooming myself and then disposing of myself.
Oh my god.
I took that joke to the most ridiculous conclusion.
Yes. That's the best place to
I prodded the noodles in silence, guessing that Charlie would get around to talking about whatever was bothering him in his own time.
It would be
awkward. My dad was not a man of many words, and the effort he had put into trying to orchestrate a sit-down dinner with me made it clear there was an uncharacteristic number of words on his mind. Okay. Again, fuck you, Stephanie, because being a man of few words does not mean he doesn't think.
Right. In fact, it actually means quite the opposite.
Right.
It means they think a lot, usually. Yeah.
This is another example of how Stephenie starts off with something super dramatic.
Yeah.
So we get that prelude, preface thing where it's like, oh, my life's in danger again. And then she just pivots straight to Bella standing around poking spaghetti a bunch of times.
Yeah,
and you can tell that it's boring because we've started getting off topic so much more than we did towards the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're like, oh, well, we're not really, like, oh, this isn't really as stimulating as far as content. And what's the deal with having to
clipping my nails is more stimulating.
Yes, it's like, and what was the deal with having to specify that you were prodding the noodles in silence?
Again, because she already said it not long ago.
Right, exactly. It's like, like we have to establish that I was not making noises while prodding these noodles.
Not only that, I need you to understand how dramatically I'm prodding these noodles.
Right, exactly.
So sad.
Yeah.
As I prod these noodles, guys, I look like I'm about to fucking kill myself. Just morose and gloomy as the day is long, guys, because I am an angsty teenage girl prodding noodles.
Who purposefully...
Even from a character point of view, it's like she's like, yo, Charlie, you fucked the spaghetti up. And then 2 minutes later, she's like poking it again. Yo, Charlie, just so you know, you really fucked these noodles up.
Like, Dad,
she's just constantly drawing attention back to them.
Like, I just need you to understand, Dad, that this is something you shouldn't do. Yeah, I get it, Bella. Dad, I just want to make sure you're perfectly clear.
Yeah, exactly. Just so you know, never to do this again. Okay.
Which is, by the way, that little type of shtick right there, that's something I routinely did with my dad. That's why we got into so many fights.
I grab Charlie's head, pulling him over to the oven, holding his face directly above the pan. Look at the noodles, I say.
Look at your abomination. I'm looking right at you, the other abomination.
Excellent. I just did Mr. Burns' hands.
Oh,
Excellent.
God. Your disembodied, non-corporeal hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What are we at? We're at 32. Oh, my God. So many things I'm flipping out of here.
Oh, this is great. Oh, right. So.
Okay. Whew. I glanced at the clock. I glanced at the clock routinely. Something I did every few minutes around this time. Less than an hour.
Routinely.
Oh my God, Stephenie, why? I glanced at the clock routinely. M-. Something I did every few minutes around this time. Why?
It's such an unnecessary detail. You've just said that you did it routinely. We don't need that you did it every few minutes. You said routinely. That's enough, Steph.
And then less than a half hour to go now.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, everything between that M- and the following period needs to be deleted, and that would fix that paragraph.
Yes.
Just so that's clear, Steph. I hope you enjoyed your fucking English lesson. Oh my God. Afternoons were the hardest part of my day. You don't have hard parts of your days.
Right.
Ever since my former best friend and werewolf, and you sure you want to use parentheses there? You sure you were not dashes? Were you sure, Steph?
Right.
Huh, girl?
Don't give her ideas, Zach.
She doesn't need me to put M- in her head. They're fucking falling out of her orifice like so
Exactly.
many drop clouds of despair and a little. Oh God, so ridiculous! I have to manually open my sinuses. Jacob
My
Black.
former best friend.
Right.
Ever since my former best friend and werewolf, Jacob
And
Black,
well,
had in parentheses, which irritates me because it's like that's actually the proper use of parentheses, but she's never used parentheses.
Right.
It always uses fucking M dashes, and it's like, so why, Steph? Why
Yeah.
did you suddenly this one time
Right.
use the proper piece of punctuation where otherwise you would have put fucking M dashes?
Mm-hmm.
Why, Steph? Why is there zero fucking consistency in how terrible you are? Jacob Black had informed on me about the motorcycle I'd been riding on the sly. He informed on you about riding a motorcycle on the sly. Look at you. God damn, you're just on a fucking chain gang, aren't you, Bella? You're just fucking living life, fucking doing some crazy shit. Oh, geez, this bitch is bad to the bone, guys.
Oh my. She's not like other girls.
Jacob's a snitch.
Oh no.
Snitches. You're snitches. You know what I mean, Sonny?
He informed on me. Like, oh, Jesus.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, because that's
It's
consistent
like,
with
what are
narrative.
you, a 40s gangster?
Right.
She's a mobster.
She's a mobster. Yeah.
That's there.
Yeah,
That's
informed
little
on me.
fella.
See.
They call her shovel face because, I mean, well, have you seen her face? Cold killer. One time, I saw her walk into a bank with 2 6-shooters. She loosed all 12 rounds, and 13 people hit the ground dead as a doornail. You don't fuck with shovel face Bella.
She's like narrating all of this with a cigar hanging out of her mouth.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh,
What I've done in my mind now is turned Bella Swan into a 40s femme fatale gangster character in my head.
Oh
and
my God.
frankly, it's arousing.
Jesus Christ.
I love a fatale character, man.
Oh my God. Because that's not the direction my head went. I had her like kind of inflated, almost like one of those, almost like Bugsy. Like the really fat caricature cartoon character mobster that they used to have in the old cartoons.
No, I picture it in my. You've drawn a picture for me. I can see what you're talking about it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, because he was always like, "Now look here, see," and that's how he always tell his stories. See, because you would always follow it up with that. See, look here, see.
Boy, I thought you were coming over to my side of town, starting up the kind of shenanigans. But I'm big top mopsy, you see.
He told Charlie about the motorcycle I was secretly riding. There, fixed it for you, Steph.
Right, exactly. Not informed on me, like you're some kind
Like
of
you're in the FBI or some shit.
Exactly.
And now he's in witness protection.
Right.
Jacob Black probably isn't even his name anymore. He's now probably Joseph White.
God. And now this next part is beautiful. A betrayal he had devised in order to get me grounded so that I couldn't spend time with my boyfriend and vampire, Edward.
Oh!
More parentheses.
In parentheses. And all of that was inside M dashes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hang on. Oh my God. I just realized how bad this truly is. Listen, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Start of sentence. Ever since my former best friend and Wolf, in parentheses, and Wolf, comma, Jacob Black, comma, had informed on me about the motorcycle I'd been riding on the sly, M dash, a betrayal he had devised in order to get me grounded so that I couldn't spend time with my boyfriend, in parentheses, and vampire, comma, Edward Cullen, M dash. Edward had been allowed to see me only from 7 till 9:30 p.m. Period. Oh, okay. Yeah, period for the p.m. Okay, so 9:30 p.m. comma. Always inside the confines of my home and under the supervision of my dad's unfailingly crabby glare. That whole paragraph, one butcher shop of a sentence that okay, here's what this butcher shop is like. Folks, you walk in, and immediately you see a man with gangrene eating the right side of his face, chopping rotten meat on the counter. There's dead animals that frankly look like roadkill hanging up in the window who are completely unskinned, maggots and flies and all other manner of foul insects crawling them. Over in the corner, there's a man tied to a hook in the ceiling, desperately wiggling to get free. His eyes are frantic. He doesn't have any way to escape because his legs have been cut off. You look at the man behind the counter in horror, and he says, "What can I get you?"
What can I get you?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's that sentence. That's that sentence. It is a Frankenstein abomination of eldritch proportions. Like, is this even, Caitlin? I'm not entirely convinced at this point that Stephenie Meyer isn't simply writing in her own brand new dialect of English.
Yes.
Rewritten all the rules of punctuation, and the alphabet is the same.
Yeah.
There is no way that you could read that without running out of breath.
No. And this is. Oh man.
You want to bet?
Just read it as actually punctuated.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Imagine if he had the book and he saw it, and this is his reaction before he dived into the. It's like someone preparing to go deep sea diving.
My former friend and werewolf, Jacob Black, had informed on me about the motorcycle I'd been riding on the sly. A betrayal he had devised in order to get me grounded so that I couldn't spend time with my boyfriend and vampire, Edward Cullen. Edward had been allowed to see me only from 7 till 9:30 p.m. and always inside the confines of my home and under the supervision of my dad's unfailingly crabby glare.
And now imagine that somebody actually said all that to you and said it like that. By the time they finished, you'd be like, all right, chill out.
Like, why?
I'll
Take a breath.
Hey.
Like, take a breath, honey.
That's the level of crazy that you find just wandering the high street.
Oh my God. But you know what? Hey, teenage girls really do be like this, though.
Oh my God, they do be like that.
Like, oh my God.
And just so we're clear, folks, I have the lung capacity of a professional diver. Okay, I'm a certified commercial diver. Like, that wasn't something that just anyone could do. That's only something that me and teenage girls from Orange County are capable of. Okay.
Or you know, or me. Because I do have the circular breathing.
Yes. Caitlin has the cheat code for all things breath related. It's fucking bullshit.
What? I offered to teach you.
Yeah, and you will when we're in person. It's too hard to learn that kind of shit not in person. Okay, this was an escalation from the previous slightly less stringent grounding that I'd earned from an unexplained 3-day disappearance and 1 episode of cliff diving. What I love here is Bella is somehow managing to make her character sound like slightly interesting, but it's like Bella, you're not that cool. Tell us what the context around these things, because you are not this cool.
No.
Yeah, because there's the ghost of something cool there, isn't there? Because if this was like teenage delinquent character that was like going off the rails and her dad's a cop and he's trying to, he's trying to rein her in and get her under control, but all of these things that she's been doing. But then when she turns around and says, well, I was riding a motorcycle so that I could see hallucinations of my boyfriend telling me to cheer up after he left me, and I dived off a cliff to not quite attempt suicide, but didn't really care if I died. And it's just, all the edge just gets blunted.
Man, I mean, because, this comes across as one of those, one of those things when a writer has a tendency to create a character where they're like, oh, this person does all the cool things that I wished that I could have been like
right.
I was this age.
Right. Living vicariously through your characters is one of the cardinal sins of being a writer. And it's one of those things you can, if it's done well and convincingly, it's fine.
Well, yeah,
but
if the execution is
people do it so badly. It's like, Steph, you claim this isn't a self-insert, but I think your therapist would disagree, Steph.
Exactly. Yeah. Be like,
what a sad existence to need to live vicariously through Bella Swan.
Or, I would, not even her therapist would disagree. I said not only. Robert Pattinson would also disagree because of the really weird, creepy conversations that they had.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not aware of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, Stephenie Meyer said some things that made Robert Pattinson really uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And he's never given details. So
because apparently she became quite fixated, and it was creepy.
Yeah. So,
what's next?
I still saw Edward at school because there wasn't anything Charlie could do about that. And then Edward spent almost every night in my room too, but Charlie wasn't precisely aware of that. Edward's ability to climb easily and silently through my second-story window was almost as useful as his ability to read Charlie's mind. Holy fucking shit, could you sound creepier, Stephenie?
Right. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I will say, the toxicity is not one-sided. Okay.
No.
This is someone who is, should be an adult in their mind, 200 fucking years old, and he's doing teenage boy shit.
Right.
And I know he's doing teenage boy shit because this is exactly the kind of shit I was doing as a teenage boy.
Yeah, but also the thing is, this brings up that age-old question that we have in the writers community of, okay, if you are this age, why the fuck are you going to high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way she tries to explain that, well, I wrote them in high school so they could fit into the community and look their age. It's like, Steph, it's not that weird for a family to move into a town and have a bunch of teens who don't enroll in the high school.
Right. I mean, because
that's not unbelievable. You could say, the dude's literally a doctor. You could just say, I homeschool my kids because I'm a fucking doctor.
Exactly.
Or I have a private tutor come school my kids because I'm a fucking doctor.
Right.
It wouldn't be that weird. And it would even make more sense because then they would be the public. They would be in the public. In the public eye less.
Yes.
And therefore draw less suspicion.
Right.
Fuck.
Yep. And what he says is accurate because he sneezed a blessing upon it.
Oh my god. That was
Yeah. All those times that Edward has had to like go to gym class and go get changed in the same room as all these boys that are like however many hundreds of years younger than him.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
Yeah, I hadn't considered that before.
Right.
I don't think that's a little bit questionable, Steph.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how locker rooms are in the UK, but over here in the States, like at a public pool, say it's perfectly normal for boys and men to change in the same locker room. It's just that it's one thing on top of the other here, Steph. There's a pattern, is what I'm saying.
He's currently trying to pressure an 18-year-old into marrying him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
While also being like, no, we can't be together.
Well, he was like, we can't be together in the last book. Now he's completely changed his tune because of one inciting incident from the teenage girl who's clearly manipulating him emotionally.
Yeah.
Well, I did say that we couldn't be together, but then you started driving recklessly and throwing yourself off cliffs, so now I think we should get married.
It's literally exactly that, Mason. It's like, holy shit, Stephenie. Is this what you think teenage romance is like or should be like? Because if so, I am very concerned for your kids.
It's like she tried to write him being a white knight, but just got it completely wrong.
Yeah.
It's like the most edgelord, emo, fucked up version of a white knight.
Yeah. I feel like, but the closest thing to, any kind of a white knight character in this, I would have to say, would be Jacob, though.
Right.
And he's shat on
constantly.
Like
he's doing this because he hates Jacob, because he hates Edward. He's doing this because he's obsessed with me. He's doing this for his own selfish reason. No, bitch. He's the only fucking male figure in your life who has enough balls to try to protect you from yourself when no one else, including you, is doing it.
Yeah. So really, actually, I would have to say this series in itself is secretly a tragedy.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Tragedy of fucking not Edward, of Jacob getting perpetually cucked by a fucking corpse.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder whose side you're on in the vampire versus werewolf battle.
Team fucking Jacob, okay?
Well, yeah. I meant just the overall vampire versus werewolf battle.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that was obvious. I mean, just listen, vampires have one place underneath werewolves, and I mean that in every possible context.
I see what you did there.
Hey man, I'm just saying, Underworld had very strong influences on my worldview around the mythology of werewolves and vampires. Okay. God. What is that?
Okay, so he's been sneaking into his room. Okay, what? Sorry.
No, just really quick. What was that actress's name who played Celine in Underworld?
Kate Beckinsale.
Yes. It's like, oh my God, why are you so aggressively sexy? Moving on. Okay. Because I couldn't bear to hurt my dad. Still through the afternoon was the only time I spent away from. Was enough to do. Oh, okay. Here's where we were. Sorry, we got so off track there, guys. It took me a second to find it.
That is okay.
Though the afternoon was the only time I spent away from Edward, comma, it was enough to make me restless, comma, and the hours always dragged. Still, comma, I endured my punishment without complaining because, oh my fucking god.
I endured my punishment of not seeing Edward for like 3 hours a day.
Right.
Fuck's sake.
Without, because M dash, for one thing, M dash, I knew I'd earned it, comma, and M dash for another, M dash.
Oh.
Couldn't bear to hurt my dad by moving out now, comma, when a month permanent separation hovered, comma, invisible to Charlie, comma, so close on my horizon, period. Stephenie, I hate you.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
This is my language. This is part of my heritage as a human being. My ancestors for many hundreds of generations have spoken this tongue, Stephenie, and you're shitting on it.
Even someone like even someone from back when Shakespeare was doing his thing, when language didn't have such rigid rules, would look at this and be like, damn.
Right. Oh my god, dude. It's like, oh my god. Stephenie, what is wrong with you?
Everything.
It's just getting to the point where there's nothing much more to say because she's repeating the same mistakes and we've made it perfectly clear.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying tearing it apart.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the actual structuring of how she's doing it, it's just the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, learn not to abuse the M dashes, learn how to use commas correctly, learn where to put a fucking period, and then get back to me in 6 months.
Yeah. Not only that, also learn how actual real human peoples interact with each other.
Yeah. How real human peoples interact. Learn the difference between a 30-year-old college-educated poet and an angsty teenage girl.
Right, yeah. And I think I found the source of the source of our pseudo poet injection here. Okay. Are you going to keep reading the
what?
Are you going to continue reading?
From the book?
Yeah.
Are you saying you want to take a break and move to something totally different? Or what?
No, I was saying it's here in the chapter.
Okay.
Explanation.
Interesting.
What, did you scroll ahead or something?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So
tell me what page it's on so I can put it on screen.
it doesn't tell me what page it's on.
It should. The version I'm looking at has the page number at the bottom.
Well,
But then again, you are on Mac.
yes, I'm on a different one.
I don't know if it's exit or not, and it might also be the browser.
Okay.
Or are you looking at the Kindle or the hardcover version? Because the Kindle.
I'm looking at the Kindle.
Okay, you got to go up. Yeah, it's okay. It's your selection in the browser. You got to go up to the top.
Okay, paperback. Okay.
I realised that we haven't got that far into this, relatively.
We were page 8, bro.
But, sorry?
We were on page 8.
Yeah, page 8. Okay.
Nothing's happened.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
on mine, it says page 8 is where it is. So, yeah.
Nothing has happened.
Yep.
Literally, the only action that has taken place is Bella poking Spaghetti.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
We're 8 pages in. Something should have happened by now. Something.
we get a clue here as to the only classic that she has probably ever read.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. All right. So here on page 8,
Okay.
we have in here, she says, she goes on talking about how she gave up on saving dinner and all of that stuff. And then she picks up her much abused copy of Wuthering Heights.
I wish I could say that I've read Wuthering Heights, but I haven't, so I don't know the significance. But
It was written by Emily Bronte. And
Okay,
Charlotte.
so the uneducated swine. Yeah, explain that more.
Okay. Well, it was written by Emily Bronte, and it is about these two characters called Heathcliff and Catherine. And basically, Heathcliff is this overly, like, brutish, boorish man character because he was the bastard son of the guy that owned this big estate out on the moors, and so he was, relegated to basically being raised in the barn.
Caitlin, turn your gain up a little bit and move closer to your mic. You're being clipped.
Okay. Okay. Let me fix. Okay. Okay. Is that any better?
I mean, I haven't. You can't just say two things and you got to keep talking.
Sorry. Okay. So anyway, basically it's so this girl ends up moving in there. Her name is Catherine. She's the ward of these really, really rich people. And basically her and Heathcliff fall in love, but it's this really big, forbidden love story kind of thing. And they have
right.
and because Heathcliff is basically like this wild man. And so it's a tragic love story is what it is. And
so what you're saying is that the war of narrative voices is coming from the fact that she wants to channel Emily Bronte.
Yes, yeah, she wants to be Emily Bronte so bad, and it's not working.
She wants to channel Emily Bronte, but she's doing it by writing a teenage girl.
Oh my god! And if you are seriously comparing Edward to Heathcliff. Oh my god!
Well, I think in the psychological breakdown of that comparison, we would see that Edward, that Jacob is Heathcliff.
Bella's Heathcliff.
Yeah, that would make more sense because by the end of it,
I need to use the bathroom really quick.
Okay. So yeah, because basically by the end of it, Heathcliff becomes a
Vampire.
Well, no, actually, because he still stays in he's an actual person. It's a drama, is really what it is.
Yeah.
And so by the end of it, he's so tired of just getting shat on by everyone that he becomes a really just cruel and, manipulative, horrible person. And that's part of the tragedy is basically he was treated like an animal so much of his life that basically he turned into that as a person
Yeah.
by the end of it. And, you know,
It's funny because having characters pick up, like, exist in books is just. I get why we do it as writers, because we want people to know, hey, I like this book. Hey, it has some sort of symbolic relevance to the plot. But at the same time, it's like a sledgehammer subtle way of doing it.
yeah, it's like, I mean, because had her prose been executed properly, you know, and had the story and characters actually been structured in a way where they were, you know, they were actually compelling and not two-dimensional, and, you know, and Bella didn't come off as this, you know, sociopathic, horrible person, you know, I might actually have reacted better to it being like, hey, my much abused copy of Wuthering Heights. From what I know of Bella, this girl does not read this.
Right.
But that's just the whole character consistency thing, though, isn't it? Like,
Yes.
Steph just can't decide what she wants Bella to be. Is she tortured poetic soul, or is she melodramatic drama whore?
Or is she a snide, sassy teenage girl?
Yeah.
Or a master manipulator?
Yeah. It's like, and it's like Bella is supposed to be our protagonist.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be the primary focus. She is our narrator.
Yeah.
And what do we get? We get the most manipulative, psycho, insufferable, melodramatic teenage girl you could possibly conceive of.
Yeah.
You know what has to happen, don't you?
What?
We're going to have to do Midnight Sun.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Because, A, it was written so much later, so it'll be interesting to see if she's improved structure-wise, and B, can she manage to make Edward a likable protagonist?
Outcome unlikely. Have we about kicked this in the balls enough, gang? What do you think?
I think so. I think we've wrung every last comedic drop out of this sponge.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think we could definitely milk some more. The only question, how long do we keep kicking the fucking horse just for a laugh? You know what I mean?
Like, it's dead. It's dead. Stop it.
Every time I kick it, another laugh comes out of its ass. But it's just starting to feel gratuitous at this point. Yeah. So, you know, guys, I gotta say, I'm charging her once again with 1,500 counts of punctuation abuse.
Yes.
Felony narrator inconsistency, and felony toxic character portrayal. Anyone else? Anyone want to add some charges to that?
Misuse.
I charge with.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, I was gonna say misuse of classic literary references for the purpose of trying to save your reputation.
I charge you with poor execution of a good idea.
That's also a felony count. So, Stephenie, unfortunately, the evidence is quite damning. You have the right to remain just as terrible as you are.
Yeah.
You have the right to an editor, which I know you will not exercise. You have the right to not publish any more writing, which I also know you will not exercise. Everything you write can and will be used against you in a court of law. My name is Detective Zach. This is the archive, Caitlin, and Mason is the man in the darkness in the chair. And I'm retarded, and this is
Bad Prose, what you gonna do when the Prose police are coming for you? Bad Prose.
Oh man, oh golly, oh geez, guys.
Oh my yes.
Yes.
My stomach and my face
Because you've been
from
laughing.
laughing. Yeah. I just... it comes to something when it comes to... We get to Prose Police, and even I start being harsh. Because I'm like the reserved one of the three of us, where I try to think of something nice to say, some sort of positive. But whenever we tackle Stephenie, even I get to the point where I'm just like, for fuck's sake.
Isn't it amazing how bad a human can be at something?
Right. Oh my god. It's like, see, look, you know you've done bad when Mason can't even be nice to you.
And it's like I said, the real tragedy of it is, it's like all that had to happen for this to be good was for an editor to look at it and say, these are the problems, fix them, and not budge, and not publish it in the state it was in. It could have actually been a good series if someone had said, okay, your characters come off this way, your use of punctuation is garbage, fix them, and we can and this will be decent. Nope, couldn't be bothered to do it.
Yeah.
Listen, Steph, I've been reading through this. It's taken me about 3 weeks because I've been stopping to laugh every few sentences. And also cry myself to sleep. I tend to swing drastically between the two. But Bella comes off as a sociopathic, manipulating, sadomasochistic twat.
Because after reading this, not only am I questioning my life choices, but whether or not I should retire and my ability to can. Because I can't.
The editor retiring. It's like the editorial equivalent of when like a cop retires so that they don't have to tackle a hard case and they pass it to the rookie.
Yep. Like here.
Yes, sir.
Here, you have this.
It's like, it reminds me of a scene in Bones where there's like, it's at the beginning of the episode and it's where they find the body, and there's this like older guy that's showing a younger guy how to, I think it's like the postal service, and he's showing him what he needs to do for the day, and he's like, oh yeah, my last day on the job or whatever, and they open up this box and there's like body parts inside, and the older guy's like, that's it, I retire, bye.
like I'm done. Okay, thanks, bye. Bye.
This is your responsibility now.
Oh my god.
Man.
Oh,
Maybe you couldn't see it, but I was just having to perform surgery on myself to get a sliver out of my finger.
Oh no.
What did Stephenie do to you?
Well, I would show you on the doll where she touched me, but you couldn't see it. So do you want me to describe it?
She treated me like an M-dash.
Used me improperly all the places for no reason.
Oh my god,
dude! It's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking nightmare that was.
How would you
So-
describe Stephenie's writing poetically?
Oh.
Oh my god, how would I describe Stephenie's writing poetically?
Yes. Yeah. Here he goes.
How would you describe that?
It's amazing what language can do to the mind. Once I would have called myself a sane man, a well-adjusted man. I would have walked down the street and seen things as they were. The writing on the side of buildings perfectly understandable to the structures inside my consciousness. I would have seen a period and understood a sentence to stop, an exclamation mark, and known that the person communicating wanted me to be extremely aware of their statement. I once knew these things, and then I found it. That cursed, eldritch abomination, the likes of which the Necronomicon itself cannot begin to describe in terms of horror and primordial insanity. When my eyes gazed upon it, the very structures of my mind unraveled at the seams as if I was falling apart like so many grains of sand crumbling from a child's castle. And the very corners of my mind washed away into the unyielding tides of stupidity as twilight raped my eyes with its light. And now I sit here in this cell and I try to speak to the people that come in, but they only hear screaming. And I try to take the jacket off, but it's bound me so tightly. And I fear I will always be trapped behind the windows of my own eyes, begging for release. Because I have relinquished all control to the madness between the hard covers of that book. Curse you, Stephenie Meyer. Curse you to hell.
I say, before whipping my dick out. I'm sorry, I had to add it in on the end there. There was a point where I was expecting it, and I started feeling like you were leading up to it.
Oh no!
That was excellent, my friend.
See,
Oh
Mason,
my God,
you made one fatal mistake in your estimations there. I'm not Stephenie. When I pick a narrator voice, I'm consistent. And I'm also not you. I don't deliberately misdirect for the sake of a hilarious punchline.
Well, misdirection's the most fun in the world.
Oh, God, you are a master of them. Aren't you glad you're not toast?
I love that poem. That was so much fun to record.
Dude, you got me so good. When I heard that, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh man. I wish we had been recording that reaction.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because that
I pretty much always wish that you record anything that I send through. because I always want to see Zach's reactions. That's why I've made him promise that we can do live streams for. I almost slipped then. I was so close to slipping.
You almost said the title.
I almost said it.
I heard the whoop.
You know, right now, Mason, what kind of time you got on your hands? Or do you need to be getting off soon, or what's the story there?
I've got a little bit left still.
Because what we could do right here, right now, right on stream, is go react to the installment that I have not yet reacted to.
Desolation.
Desolation.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Like here's a
Zach's
nice
Zach's like, I can kill two birds with one stone here.
I'm gonna have to put a stinger together. I'm gonna have to put a stinger together for when we highlight our own work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for people watching this originally on this channel, go check out Mason's channel, Mason in the Dark on YouTube. I'm gonna put it up on screen right here. And he has this series called the Bleeding Ground series, which he's referenced several times throughout this episode. And
I can't help it.
and there's no problem doing it because it's absolutely phenomenal. And I've been reviewing his work over on my channel on YouTube, and we're going to do the third installment right now.
Right here. Right now.
I almost feel, hang on. I almost feel like this deserves its own stinger.
Bad Prose, what you gonna do when the Prose police are coming for you? Bad Prose.
All right.
Oh no.
Desolation, the Bleeding Ground universe.
Like an unwelcome weight. The weariness of travel rests heavily upon me, like an unwelcome weight that I struggle to carry. For too long I've been away from home, isolated in the wilderness, exposed to the elements. My lips are dry and cracked from the bitter winter wind that lashes against the tender exposed flesh of my face and hands. I am weak and hungry. My strength is running out. I feel a longing for the familiar presence of other people, a roof over my head, a roaring fire, hot food and a comfortable bed. But underneath all of this I feel something much deeper and far more urgent.
Deeper inside his anus.
Oh my god.
But real talk. Okay. Stephenie, notice how he's several sentences in and he hasn't switched his character voice? You too can be this way.
Dread grips me in its terrible vice-like jaws and refuses to release me.
Dread grips me in its jaws. That's a good line.
Yes.
It's terrible vice like Jaws.
Yes.
Right.
No rest. Driven instead by an unstoppable desire. It refuses to release me. For 7 days I have had neither shelter nor rest. Driven instead by an unstoppable desire. I need to return to my home. Although I know what I will find there is a truth I am not ready to face. Almost a month has passed since a dream came upon me in the night filled with death, with fire and screaming and blood.
Okay, I've never noticed this before. Okay, so first of all, the Prose are amazing. Okay, that's just one thing. I'm absolutely sold on this character being this deep and this concerned and all that stuff. But just to speak to the sound production aspect of this, I've never noticed this before. You can hear his feet crunching in the snow. With
Mm-hmm.
that is fucking brilliant. because now you feel like you're inside his head while he's thinking this. This is fantastic.
Just to suck my own dick slightly too. I just love my delivery on that. A dream filled with fire and screaming and blood.
Yes.
That we're about to get that line, right?
We just did.
We just had it.
We just did. Hang on, let me go back in.
With fire and screaming and blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Not to stroke your ethereal shaft too hard, but yeah. Good.
And I actually did wrestle with myself on that one. That I almost put commas rather than the ands with fire, screaming, and blood. But I felt it. I felt that it fit Evander's voice better to have the ands.
Yes. And what that is poetic alliteration.
Yeah.
And when alliteration is used poetically like that properly, it amplifies the voice so much, because that's an old thing in poetry. That's a classic technique. And it's very much a hit or miss. It's either really good or really bad. And it's pulled off right there. And that just tells you, it gives you great character voice, like Mason just said, but it also tells you, okay, this writer knows exactly when to use the tool in the box. He knows what he's doing. So it instantly says, you can trust me to the reader. I'm not going to lead you astray with this story. You're going to enjoy yourself. It's good fucking writing.
In it, the shadow fell over the valley in which I live, and a great and terrible voice boomed over the hills like thunder, repeating my name. Evander! Evander! You will be too late. Take up the blade, Evander, for it is all you have left. And although I didn't understand what it meant...
Okay, so now here's... Hey, Caitlin, I can hear your background whooshing.
Okay.
So there's something here that I would personally not have written, or not have written exactly this way. And I think the thing here is that it should have been the what he was hearing should have been shorter. It should have been a little bit more punchy. It's not bad, but usually when people have these things that keep repeating in their head, they're shorter, and it's more succinct and condensed. Were you saying yep to me or someone else, Mason?
No, I'm saying yes to you.
Okay. So that's just you acknowledging my point and agreed, I take it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, it's not bad, but it definitely could have been better.
I knew in my heart that it spoke the truth. Never before had I witnessed a dawn as red as the one that followed that dream. And as I lay there next to the burned out remains of my camp...
That just instant, knowing how much of a fucking Lord of the Rings nerd you are, that just instantly makes me think of Legolas.
A red sun rises. Blood has been shed this
night. Damn you. I am transparent. You're wearing your influences on your sleeve a little bit there, Mason.
Hey, well, it's kind of like I've said before.
All of the authors that influenced writers haunt the pages of their work. So
yes, that is very true. And not to mention that, just let me say this. Hey, Caitlin, let me say this.
Check my style out.
No, I was referencing the reactions we did to those rap battles.
Yeah.
Which over on If You're Feeling Adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah. if you're allowed to pick up my breadcrumbs and instantly call the twist in my plot, I'm allowed to call out your influences. Just so you didn't think that I had no ability to play detective.
He's like, look here, you.
I just sniff out different things. That's why we're such a good pair, old buddy, old boy. I check the corner, you check the attic. We're a team.
You sniff out different things.
I smell the shit. Mason smells the sugar. It's not exactly a fair trade, but it's a partnership.
Oh my god. I couldn't help but think I break into people's houses at night.
Smell them dicks.
Excellent.
Oh my god. We're good. Caleb. Oh god.
Are you okay?
Oh my god. That hurts so bad. Jesus Christ. I just had a booger take a nose hair as I felt a booger when I wiped my nose.
Ow!
Oh god. That hurt.
Oh no.
Oh.
And that is for pointing out my influences.
He's like,
Okay.
I psychically plucked your nose hair.
No, basically, like psychically made that booger form on that nose hair. So that you would figure it out.
It wasn't hard.
Oh my god. We're way off track already.
Yes.
Fire. Staring up at the crimson sky, I confess that I was more afraid than I have ever been. I wasted no time in beginning my journey, driven by an urgency the likes of which I have never felt. I anticipated arriving much sooner, but the winter has been brutal. Chill.
That delivery on brutal was very good.
Mm-hmm.
That delivery on
Thank you.
brutal was very good. So if you're reading that on page, it might not hit as hard, but with the narration behind it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because you could easily just read it, but the winter has been brutal. Like,
Right.
Yeah, because but then again, too, it's kind of saved by the voice of the narrator being in this elevated language and this elevated level of tension. It lends the weight to the word.
Yeah.
But if it was in isolation, it could be taken as being a little bit more, a different. The context saves that one basically.
Yeah.
Wind is bringing with them so much snow and ice that travelling has been almost impossible. My horse, Flint, only lasted a week before suffering a fall that left him so badly injured he could not be saved, and I was forced to offer him a merciful death. He was a loyal companion, and we had travelled many miles together. I left him, my heart filled with sorrow and regret. Without Flint, the journey had been harsh and unforgiving, the snow ensuring I could not find the comfort of a campfire. The few supplies I've been able to carry have weighed me down. Each day has been a battle, and the rugged landscape has been my enemy.
So really quick about the horse.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the narrator stopped to give us that level of eulogy, for lack of a better term, to that horse, that tells you a lot about the character.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you a lot about the character, and it's done through a pretty organic way. It feels just a little bit like we're jumping off to a side topic, but it's still relevant enough to where you're willing to go along with it and see where the narrator goes, and where it goes is good characterization.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, because its function is twofold, which speaks
Right.
to the skill of the writer, because it does two things simultaneously. It tells you just how bad things have gotten through exposition, but not in a way that's like beating you over the head with exposition, while building characterization at the same time.
Right. And see, that's
thank God for that.
that's one of the ways you can get away with exposition, folks.
Mhm.
Is you can use your exposition as a two birds, one stone, and then it doesn't feel like exposition.
Right.
Because if we're learning something about the character or learning something about the situation and it's compelling, we don't care that we're getting it in exposition.
Mhm.
It's when the exposition reaches a point where it's info dumping, or it's not relevant, or it's not interestingly articulated. Articulated interestingly.
Mhm.
My horse, Flint, who was about 14 years old,
Right.
and gifted to me by my father.
My horse. What was the horse's name?
Flint.
My horse Flint, 14 years of age, bred from the best brown stallions of the Yorkshire estate.
Oh my God! Here's Mr. Monday.
Because we never closed out. How would you describe that?
Yeah.
This is a Prose release. How would you describe that 2-in-1, folks? Like I was just talking about. He stepped on a patch of ice, absolutely shattering his right leg. Unfortunately, this meant that I was forced to use my survival knife to slit his throat and offer him a death which he deserved, because that fucking horse was supposed to be carrying my shit right now.
Excellent.
Excellent.
I should be feeling a sense of relief because I'm so close now. So close to home. And yet the thought does not fill me with comfort, because I know in my heart that it's no longer there. I will be too late. As night gives way to dawn, and dawn gives way to daylight, I find myself in a familiar territory. The landmarks I've known all my life begin to appear, and as the winter sun climbs higher in the pale blue sky, I round a corner. The solitary form of Huxley Hill becomes visible in the distance. A shiver that has nothing to do with the cold runs down my spine. I am transfixed by a sight that has for most of my life provided me with the relief of knowing that my journey is almost over. And yet now it feels ominous. The sense of dread I've been carrying with me intensifies.
Okay, I'm having this issue where it's like I want to stop and make comments, but I'm starting to get like pulled into the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on, let me back up here.
My journey is almost over. I am transfixed by a sight that has for most of my life provided me with the relief of knowing that my journey is almost over. And yet now it feels ominous.
The delivery on ominous could have been a little bit better. I feel like there was maybe a little too much breath behind it. However,
yeah, possibly.
the writing is, oh God, the writing. It's like,
Yeah.
what can you say about a well-chipped and polished marble statue? What can you say about a painting expertly capturing the resplendence of a blooming meadow in spring? What can you say about a symphony that makes you feel every emotion on the spectrum? What can you say about a masterpiece, folks?
until you see the written version. Until you see the written version and you realise that it's I am transfixed, comma, by a sight that has M dash for most of my life. M dash.
They said, don't you shit on the image.
He's like, don't take this from me.
I have so much faith in you. Don't cut me down.
I promise you it's not, but I just couldn't. I saw When I heard myself reading it out, I was like, Stephenie would have put that in them dashes.
Right.
The sense of I've been carrying with me intensifies. My hand flies to my blade. I'm paranoid, on guard, ready for a fight. I stand motionless, waiting. For how long, I do not know.
Okay. Now that's a little bit weird, and it immediately makes him some dude just like right this in a field with his hand on his fucking hip, ready to go, constantly turning about. There's just snow falling. Nothing's going on. There's no other sound besides a slight rustling of tree branches in the wind, and still he's just power stance, hips, ready. Right. Hand shaking on the hilt of his weapon, and he's just standing there looking around for like 10 fucking minutes, and the birds in the trees are just like, what the fuck is that monkey doing? Hey, Steve, the hairless monkeys are at it again. Oh yeah, what are they doing this time, Bob?
Nothing. It's kind of the point.
Nothing, but he's doing it like in a really funny way.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. I was trying to make it seem like he was expecting to be ambushed at any second or something.
Which,
yeah, no, it comes
I mean,
through.
yeah.
Through, Mason. It really does. I'm just telling you, that might be slightly more of a me thing, okay? I'm not saying everyone would read it like that. I'm just saying the way you worded it, put that picture in my head.
I'm more than willing to laugh at that.
Jokes into action. I'm running now. Feet flying along the road, propelled by desperation.
Propelled by desperation. Very good line.
Me. Yes. I need to know. I have to see it for myself.
I want to know. Can you show me something's familiar about the town of Huxley?
And that's what you would have sang at the beginning of the episode if this was a proper Prose Police episode.
Yes.
Max.
As if rising out of the earth in front of my eyes. Before long, I'm casting its shadow. Suddenly, my feet find a patch of ice that snatches my momentum and sends me crashing to the ground.
Okay. If this is probably because I'm in this jovial mood because, you know, we've been joking for 2.5 hours straight. Mm-hmm. Got the most hilarious cartoon image of him hitting a patch of ice, and then he puts both his heels down and his arms are waving and he slides into a snow bank, crashing into hard ice like a cartoon.
Slides for about 20 feet.
Oh, God.
Moment. That's where I stay. Face pressed against the frozen earth, unable to move. I've seen it, and yet I refuse to accept it. I can't look again. I don't want to look again.
Ooh, rising tension in the voice.
It's to lie here and rest. To let nature take its course and bury me beneath the snow. Tears roll slowly down my cheeks, and a small whimper escapes me. As I lie there and close my eyes, preparing to accept my fate, I hear the wind rustling through the trees, and with it, a quiet voice that whispers in my ear. Get up, Evander. Get up. You must get up. No, I reply.
Nope. It sounded like a cranky teenage boy in his bed.
Yeah. He's like,
to be fair, he was kind of supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, the next few words will tell you that he was supposed to.
Yeah, which I mean, I caught that from him laying there and just like whimpering to himself, and then him just being like, no.
Voice as petulant as a child's. Leave me here. Leave me to rest. Please just let me rest for a moment. All I hear is silence.
Okay. So outside of the obvious funny mental wealth, so what's beautiful here, I'm only able to have these thoughts because of the jovial tone we've sustained this whole time. Like, this really would capture anyone with even a remote degree of taste and submerge them in the story. These comedic comparisons are only accessible to me right now because I've been laughing for 2 hours. But in all seriousness, man, that is just fucking gripping. And we've all had, well, I won't say all, like 98% of people have had at least one of these moments in their lives where they got up and looked agony in the face with no alternative. And these are moments that make or break people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being conveyed, the narration's good, and the language behind the narration is good or better. And it just sinks you in. It's a very human moment, and the artistry of its articulation and delivery. Oh, God. Hits you right in the feels.
But then the wind blows harder, and the voice comes again. This time louder and with more authority. Get up, Evander. Get up. Get up and do what must be done. And I know that I have no choice. With shaking arms, I push myself up onto my hands and knees, rising slowly, reluctantly to my feet.
Sexual overtones!
I was thinking more of a parent. Get up, Evander. You will come and empty the dishwasher.
Or maybe a little bit more towards the end of the spectrum of the relationship between my protagonist in my current super secret project and Uncle Eckert. Come on, get up, Will. I'm not done beating that ass, boyo.
Uncle Lee, that was perhaps the wrong word choice there.
Yeah, exactly. Considering we established there were sexual overtones.
Oh, God!
But, there are no gays in Ireland, so...
Context is for pussies. Context is for pussies. There are no gays in Ireland. And then, as a proper Scotsman, I truly feel I must inform you, there's nothing but gays in Ireland.
The juxtaposition of Oz with Evander just having his world ripped to shreds.
I know. Like, you're over here on the sidelines laughing about.
It's like, haha, suffer more, bitch.
We'd be the worst in the cinema.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh my God.
Whether I'm in control. I keep my gaze fixed on the ground in front of me until it's time. Until I know I have to look. And when I raise my head, the horrific scene laid out in front of me almost forces me back down to my knees. The silence around me is shattered by a scream of anguish that I barely recognize as my own. The hamlet of Huxley, the home that I have known all my life.
Okay, really quick. Back to serious mode for a second.
Of anguish that I barely recognize as my own.
That is so good.
Yes.
You know why? Let me break it down for you. So he's just described this mind-shattering thing that he's trying to bring himself to face.
Yeah.
And now he's gotten up and seen it, and he's staring at it, and there's this build of language. Very poetic, very good language.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this singular line that wraps it all up. This scream of anguish that I barely recognize as my own. That is That is, I'm in so much pain, I'm beginning to completely disassociate from reality. That's what that translates to.
Yeah.
And what that means is this person is being confronted with a mind-shattering horror.
Yeah.
We get so much depth from that one line. It gives us characterization. It gives us a scope of situation. It gives us a major inciting incident. That line is a linchpin line, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Masterfully structured and delivered. It's fucking gold-plated.
The hamlet of Huxley. The home that I have known all my life. The home of my family, my friends, and
oh god, and then my family, like the slight break in the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
My ancestor is gone, utterly destroyed. Now simply a grotesque mockery of itself.
That's
a
a good line.
nightmarish
Grotesque
hallucination
mockery of
that
itself.
defies belief. My mind screams at me that this cannot be real. But as much as I wish for it to disappear, the image of desolation remains before me. All around, scattered here and there, are the dead, or at least what remains of them. Their limbs and torsos have been set.
Hang on here. No, Meg, nope, I corrected myself in my head. Scratch that from the record. Never mind.
Separated from one another. Some discarded carelessly like the playthings of some horrific child. Others are arranged in neat piles, as if the child's mother has attempted to clean up after it.
Oh.
Most of the houses have been burned down completely.
Okay. That is... Oh, God, that's good, Mason. I didn't notice that first time around. Caitlin, did you catch what he did there with the child thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So that me and Caitlin are definitely on the same page, and for the sake of the audience, what he did there was he conveyed the idea that Evander understands that humans are playthings to Valder, to Valdis. That's what we get from that line.
Yeah.
Oh God. It's so fucking, that is such a beautiful way to use internal dialogue to self-characterize and characterize the villain while giving us a vivid and graphic idea of the scene. It's three birds, one expertly placed round, sir.
And then it's
Thank
all
you.
tied up in this very nice satin bow of symbolism.
Yes. Thank you, Caitlin. Yes.
Like it's such a dark scene that he's being confronted with, but at the same time, it shows that Valdis has just been having fun whilst he was away.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
there's almost this bastardization of reckless abandon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly. And this is how we know, folks, that Valdis is chaotic evil.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we know that he's a believable chaotic evil character. See, the reason the Joker is so great, just to take a little tangent here on writing evil characters, okay, folks? The reason that villains like the Joker, or on the other side of the spectrum, Tywin Lannister, the reason these villains are so compelling is because they are believably chaotic evil and lawful evil.
Yeah.
They're pure fucking evil. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Complete disregard for anyone but themselves and their own whims. Okay? That's the essence of evil. And so, well, actually, the essence of evil is, it's multifaceted, so I'm not going to get into it. But, so that's one of the core ingredients in the essence of evil. We'll say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And what we get right here
is that same proof in Prose that Valdis is pure chaotic evil because he likes being that way, that we get from the expert writing and world building that some of the Joker's portrayals have had.
Mhm.
Not saying all the comics where Joker's done really horrific shit have been well written. I'm saying we get enough well written comic to understand that Joker is pure chaotic evil because he likes it.
Right.
And that's why that character is so beloved, so famous, and so iconic, because you look at the Joker and you actually get an idea of what pure evil is. And those characters, again, it's like looking at the eye of a storm. It's fascinating in its horror. And so,
well, I'm honored to have. Carry on.
And I was just saying, and so that one analogy gives us all that depth about Valdis, and we are now cemented in the realization that yes, this is a chaotic evil character. He's pure fucking evil, and it throws any accusation of I'm bad to be bad trope completely out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Wipes forehead with relief.
Yeah. Is that what you were going to say, roughly, or?
I was just going to say, well, I'm honoured to have Valdis mentioned in the same breath as the Joker, so thank you very much for that.
I mean, yeah, the different one is just British. I mean, that's kind of what Valdis is, as I can tell. He's British gentleman Joker, which is a fascinating alternative take on the Joker. Okay, let's go.
The ghostly remains of others are left still partially standing. At first it seems a handful of dwellings have been left untouched. But as I look, I see that they've been transformed into the grisly canvas of some terrible artist. There are words, painted in long since dried blood, silently screaming mocking messages. And below them, impaled and held in place by nails and other spikes, are the heads of those that I have known and loved.
Oh my god, did Valdis use the heads as punctuations and commas?
One on top of the other as a semicolon. Two next to each other for an M dash.
A lot.
Oh my god!
3 up and down for a parentheses.
Oh my god.
Guys, I think that all of us might want to consider therapy. Oh god.
Oh my god. And you got on to me for the things I was I was making supposition about last night.
I can't remember what they were.
Being like, I have questions. Because we were talking about the scientist who
from the dub. Yeah, that's going to be over on IFA too, folks. If you're one of those people, who likes context,
Yes. Yeah, if you need
reaction content over on IYFA is where you'll find that bit of context. You'll have to dig, but it's there.
It's there. Yep. So it's like
to just raise a point quickly though. That little section raises a few questions, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 2 possibilities that could be true here, right? Or maybe 3.
Yeah.
So either Valdis arranged the bodies this way, and especially the heads more so in the messages. He either arranged them that way just for the shits and the giggles. He arranged them that way for whoever happened to stumble across this area in the future, or he left it for Evander to find when he got back because he knew that Evander wasn't at home at the start.
Yeah, true.
I'm intrigued to know which one it was.
Are you telling me even you don't know yet?
No, I don't, no, I'm not sure. To be fair, to be honest, to be 100% honest, that's not something that I've considered until this moment.
Well, I mean, I think it may be something that Valdis will tell you himself eventually.
I think we should get that tidbit. I think, oh my God, I can just see that conversation now. You're a monster, a demon. The way you arranged my families, like it was some kind of a sick love letter to me. I actually did that just for the fun of it.
Or like, oh, Evander, you finally found me. Did you like what I left for you?
Yeah, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, exactly that. Oh man, I almost feel like when this gets turned into an audiobook, me and Mason should double team it, and I can do some of your voices. It'd be so good. Anyways,
make a whole thing out of it.
Double team it.
Who I have held and who have held me. Their faces have been strangely preserved by the winter, somehow recognizable and yet devoid of anything that made them who they were in life. Their empty eye sockets picked clean by the birds. My feet move forwards automatically, taking me deeper into the hamlet, and as I go, I'm met with more and more death. The large wooden building that the Council of Elders uses for town meetings is still standing, and I am drawn to it. I dare not enter, for I know what I find will be terrible. I wait outside until I can wait no longer, and then I take a deep breath to steady myself, place my hands on the double doors, and push them open.
You know what? I just had a thought. Okay, it is. So here's. This is the. Okay, it's deep winter, so they all might be. Well, they all would be frozen. But I'm still curious. Would there still be enough of a smell in the air for that deep breath to actually event a gagging inhale of putridness? But if it's that deep of winter, it's probably completely arresting all decay. So maybe the air would still be clean? I'm on the fence about that one. I need a forensic crime scene guy here.
Well, to somewhat pseudo fill in for somebody like that, because I like collecting skills and research and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
It with the temperatures, I'm guessing being as portrayed to be as low as they are, and the level of decomp that Evander described there wouldn't be that much of a smell.
Yeah, you could probably the only smell would be the blood.
Yeah.
You'd be able to smell the blood if it was fresh enough. Or
but it's long since dried.
But it has long since dried.
But but here's the thing: the moisture in the blood isn't gone. It's dried, but it's frozen, so there's still going to be moisture in it. And as long as blood has any level of living or unfermented organic stuff in there, it's going to keep giving off that smell. And so with it being winter, that blood has gone through heating and cooling cycles as the days have gone by. I'm willing to bet that you'd still be able to pick up on that blood. The flesh wouldn't be rotting, and you wouldn't be able to smell the shit.
Yeah, it would be a slight metallic scent.
Yes, exactly.
The frostiness.
It's interesting the fight that seems to be going on between, like, Evander really doesn't want to keep going here.
Yeah.
But something It's just driving him forward.
Yeah, get back on topic. But yes, I agree, sir. I do agree. And what that is, that's a force most people have experienced where, to use the analogy again, they're looking at the eye of the storm and they can't look away even though the storm is about to engulf them again, kind of thing. That it's I'm compelled by the horrors in front of me, kind of thing.
It could be, but I'm also sort of convinced that there are higher forces at play here. I mean, just from the stuff that we've gotten already in this chapter.
Yeah,
you know, an ominous premonition dream, the voices that are speaking to him on the wind, the fact that he's mentioned twice now that his feet have moved automatically, even though he's not wanted them to.
Yeah, he's being moved, not of his own volition.
That's a very good point. Some sort of governing entity or compulsion by fate itself, which is a Greek theme that doesn't get explored enough, by the way. Yeah, that's a good point, Mason.
I stand on the threshold, unable to process what I'm seeing. Inside, everything is arranged as though the council has called for a meeting. Rows of empty chairs sit facing.
Most people would write that detail and it would feel mundane. Mason wrote it, and because it's a massacre and he's having a mind-shattering trauma take place, we are hooked into every last little detail.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, especially because you know that, like, it's been arranged that way by Valdus. Like, dude took his time. Like, he spent days there once he'd killed them all. Like, to set everything up to the point that he set it up. He spent at least, like, the next 48 hours just wandering around the hamlet, like, put this here, put that there.
Yeah.
He was like, this is art to me.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Which is something that we definitely know anyway from chapter 3.
Yes.
Is that he does consider death an art form.
Yeah.
Yep. League of Legends has a character like that, but unfortunately League of Legends destroyed their lore. So not even worth discussing. But yeah. That's an interesting theme that occasionally gets explored. Not enough.
It's in a raised platform that stands above everything else. On it, 12 chairs more ornate than the rest, arranged in the shape of a horseshoe, so the members of the council can see both each other and the gathered spectators. I see the remains of each council member, propped in a sitting position, secured by ropes to their corresponding chair, their heads in their laps, bound to their hands. In the center chair sits the eldest. Head.
Now you know, oh my god, this would have been great, Mason. You had a missed opportunity here. You should have had some of them cover some of their hands covering their ears, some covering the mouth, and some covering the eyes. And you could have done it either an equal split, because it's 12, so divisible and everything. So you could have had an equal split, or you could have had them covering their eyes, mouth, or ears according to what that person's greatest sin or what their reputation was. Like, all of the best speakers on the council have their mouths covered. All the stoic silent types have their ears covered, etc. The symbolism there would have been so good.
Well, it also would have been hear no evil, speak no evil.
See no evil.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was Mason, that was literally what I was referencing.
Forgive me, it's getting late.
Oh, that's okay.
Council, my father. I've fall to my knees, body racked by uncontrollable sobs. Bile rises in my throat. I want to look away, but my eyes will not obey the command I've given them. In desperation, I raise my...
Will not obey the command I've given them. That's a reinforcement of either the disassociation or the divine intervention. Could be both.
My hands against my head in them. I'm not sure how long I remain that way. Minutes. Hours. It feels like a lifetime. When I can finally bring myself to raise my head again, I'm met with an unbelievable sight. Standing behind his chair, looking at me sadly, hands resting on his own shoulders, is the ghostly form of my father. I take in the familiar lines of his weathered face. His grey eyes are filled with a cold fury I fear is directed towards me. Suddenly I feel like a child once more. I'm sorry. I'm crying, and my words are no more than a whisper. Sorry, Father. I should have been here. I should have stopped this. I'm sorry. You couldn't have stopped this. He mouths wordlessly, coming out from behind his chair to stand in front of me. I get to my feet, force myself to meet his gaze where the cold fury still burns. I reach out to touch him, but my hand meets only empty air. He simply shakes his head sadly before moving past me, back out into the open, and I know he wants me to follow. I'm powerless to resist. It's like I'm no longer in control of my own body, as if I'm drawn along behind him by a string. Slowly, we make our way through the hum. And I force myself to keep my eyes fixed on him. I can't look around. I don't want to see anymore. After a few minutes, we reach the base of Huxley Hill.
Oh, God. Okay. Hey, Caitlin. Whoosh.
Whoosh. Okay.
So, man. The build there, again, the increasing build of this, is he disassociating or is this some kind of divine action? The continuing build of that is getting very compelling. Like, even the slowest reader would start asking that question. It's becoming a more and more interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
And the language doing it, I could go line by line, but it suffice to say, it's just really fucking good in the interest of brevity. Okay.
You know what I find interesting? So
yeah,
when I listened to this the other day, because I've been trying to type up the chapters like more along the way that I narrated them, I got to that line where he's like, "I see an unbelievable sight," and I turned to Lee and I was like, "Why does he find it unbelievable if the ceremony of the taken is something that takes place?
Right.
They know that they can summon spirits, so why is it unbelievable to see his father?" But what also interests me is that when he tries to reach out to his father, he touches, there's nothing there. His hand meets only empty air.
right.
But in chapter 1, when they summon the taken, they do have physical forms, because when they hand the knives to the taken so that they can do what they do to Valdus, we have that moment where Evander's father is looking at the girl and he's like, she's no older than 14. And for a moment, her hand rests against his, cold flesh against warm. So whatever sort of spirit Evander's dad is in this scene is different to whatever the taken are in the first chapter.
Yes, or he's not actually there and it's all a hallucination.
Yeah, could be. I'm not sold on considering the rest of the chapter.
Oh no, I'm not
Just
saying
considering
it
the
is for
content
sure,
of the
but-
rest of the chapter.
Right. No. Yeah. Like I said, it's not something that I'm believing. I'm saying it's something that you could argue, and I
It's
think some
possible.
people would make that conclusion.
Yeah.
Begin to descend down the roughly cut stone steps that lead to the dungeon where prisoners are kept. I know it then. I know the truth. And the dread I've been carrying with me feels greater than ever. Down the steps, along the corridor, and then the form of my father stops in front of the cell. His cell. And I know it will be empty. But seeing it still feels like a knife to the gut. And I stare at my father in dismay. Doyle. He did this. I ask pointlessly, knowing the answer even before my father nods in reply. And then he moves, back up the stairs and out into the daylight. Together, we climb Huxley Hill. But when we reach the summit and I see the stake, I freeze. I feel so confused. I hadn't expected this. I thought that the stake wouldn't be there. I assumed that that monster must have escaped before the people had the chance to perform the ceremony. You did it then, I say weakly. You offered him to the Taken. When my father nods in confirmation, my confusion only deepens. Then how? How did he do this? There's no reply. He simply steps forward, raises his hand and touches that solitary wooden stake. When I do the same, my head is suddenly filled with a series of flashing images. Valdus Doyle, carried up and out of the dungeon, thrown in the wagon, tied to the stake.
The heartbeat,
The
though.
people surround him. They beat the ground with their torches. The ground bleeds. The Taken appear. I hear his voice in my mind. The only thing you've done here, the only thing you've achieved tonight, is allowing me the privilege to gaze upon my life's work, and it is beautiful. His blood flows.
Now, there's an interesting point of syntax there. Valdus says, my life's work. But because of other places that we see him, that we get narration or discussion about him, we find out that he's much older than a human. And so what that tells us is this guy has dedicated his very existence to this.
Yes, that is an interesting point.
The crowd disperses. His lifeless body left alone until his eyes fly open once more. I hear his laughter. People die in their beds. Some flee, but he catches them. His blade meets flesh over and over and over.
And over.
He stands, smiling, as the hamlet burns, and he is illuminated by the flames.
With his dick out.
I stagger backwards, away from the stake, struggling to understand what I've just seen.
With my dick
I
out.
know that it was the truth, but how can it be? How can he have survived?
With his dick out.
Is he? I ask, my voice weak and quivering.
With my dick
But
out.
my father simply shakes his head.
With his dick
and
out.
sets off back down the hill.
With his dick out.
I follow, because I know I have no other choice.
I'm sorry. I have no
Poignant moment. Pissed all over it.
And he leads me to the edge of the hamlet, where he raises his arm to point north. I cast my gaze in
Or did he point north? With his dick out!
that direction, but my eye is caught by the gleam of something on the ground, reflecting the sun. It's a blade. An ornate sword that until now I've only ever seen mounted on the wall of my father's bedroom. Nobody has handled it, except to clean and sharpen it in generations, handed down from father to son, as a symbol of power, authority, and a responsibility to protect the community. Take up the blade, Evander, for it is the only thing you have left. Those were the words I heard in my dream, and now I know what they meant. I bend down to pick up.
Wait. And, okay, so I actually got to dig into that one a little bit. And now I know what they meant. Like, you said the dream depicted the whole thing, and you heard those words in your dream, and you didn't know what they meant? Are you daft?
They depicted the original, like, what Valdus was doing, I assume, like, in present tense. Not him actually taking up the blade. That was just an instruction.
I'm not seeing what you're saying. I'm not seeing your point.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're right. You're right.
Feeling the weight, and suddenly I am filled with a sense of purpose. I know what I have to do.
In the butt.
I return my gaze to my father.
With his dick
and
out.
see that he's still pointing north.
With his dick out.
I move to stand in front of him. Look into those furious grey eyes for what I know in my heart will most likely be the last time. No matter how.
I like that line. Furious grey eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Long it takes. No matter how far I have to search. If it takes me until my dying day, I will find him. Say Solomon. I will find him, and I will kill him. I wish that I could hear his voice. But he just mouths, I know. Before there is a sudden gust of wind and he disperses like smoke.
That's a good line.
Forever from this world. With a grim determination, I turn to face northwards, considering how impossible the task before me is. The world is vast. The wilderness is harsh. And even if I do manage to find him, how can I kill a man that survived what he did? Starved. Beaten. The blade taken to his flesh, over and over, and finally, his throat slit. As I ponder what to do, and where to begin, something on the ground catches my eye. It's a trail of footprints. I blink and they disappear, but I smile because I know that somewhere, somehow, someone is looking out for me, and they will help me if they can. Wherever he is, I will find the monster that destroyed my home and killed the people that I love. One day he will know the name.
It's an interesting choice that he says love, not loved, like he's holding on to them.
Of Evander Fletcher. He will know my face, the bite of my steel, and he will be sorry. Justice will be delivered. Frantically pleading with him.
Also, that last section where we hear Evander talking about how he knows someone is looking out for him, that goes a long way towards dispelling the he's going crazy or he's had a mental break analysis, because the supernatural events in conjunction with his clearly demonstrated faith, and because we're getting the narration in his voice, and so we know he's intelligent and articulate, he buys himself the credibility for us to believe or suspend disbelief of what he says. That's my expert analysis of that.
I love the drums when they come in. I just love that.
Yes.
And I also love the heartbeat during the Valdez flashback.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. So my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII, and there's a heartbeat sound effect in there that has haunted my childhood and my dreams, and it is the first thing I think of when I think of something being eerie or ominous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed all that anyway. There is some serious background noise going on right now.
Yep, I just muted Kate because it's coming from her because her setup is not the best, to say the least.
I'm glad that you enjoyed all that anyway. Did it give you any other thoughts just as about the story as a whole rather than just that section?
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It instantly what's the word I'm looking for here? Because of the quality of writing and the complete suspension of disbelief that you've purchased from the audience, our brain is allowed to fully wander into every little question we could possibly form. And so eventually you're going to ask all the possibilities surrounding the world. You're going to ask all the possibilities surrounding the characters, and you're going to very quickly be turning pages. That's what I have to think. That's what I have to say. Yeah. It's like Caitlin, robots having sex.
Okay.
So some of the questions I would immediately ask is, what is the magic system in this world like? Because we've clearly had this very fantasy-like setup, this very dark fantasy setup, and I would start asking myself, well, what is the magic system like?
Yeah.
We have a sword, which is the classic fantasy MacGuffin item for the hero to beat the big bad guy. It's like quintessential epic fantasy. The sword. He finds the sword, and he starts marching towards the path of his greatest enemy because he can see it in the snow. So I would ask myself, so does the sword grant him some kind of magical assistance or ability? I'm very curious. Like, I would ask that. I would ask, what the fuck is Valdez? What the fuck is this guy that he can kill an entire town by himself and survive just dicking off in the frozen waste for at least 2 or 3 days, doing all this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions, Mason. A lot of questions.
I love it. I cannot wait to send you that. Well, not to send you. I can't wait for you all to hear the next chapter. Which, for those of you who are listening, I finished writing last night. Yay! It's a beast. It's very long. But I'm hoping it's going to be worth it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, what I've gotten to see of it so far. Yeah.
Well, I'll be shooting it over to you soon anyway.
Yes.
Now, I know Mason is overdue to be out of here.
It's past my bedtime.
Yeah.
And my bladder is about to explode again. So, yeah. Thank you all for being here. This has been the second installment this episode of Prose, Please. We've never done before, but fuck it. And of course, you can find all of us through the links in the description. If you think this show is a good time, do us a favor, share it with your friends. That helps more than anything. If you know someone who reads, send them the show. It helps a lot. Or writes, especially.
And do it with your dick out.
Right.
Friends like these folks.
Yep.
Adventurous. We love you all. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the adventure.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Thank you, Caitlin. Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun, dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun.
dun.